Hello. I'm not really good at this, huh? I decided to do a little earlier stream today since I am not working today. I might stream for like a couple hours before my parents get home from work, and then depending on the vibe, I will stream at night like usual. And then I have to go back to work for the next 3 days. Such is life. I'll see how far I get in this game. I don't know how long it is actually. I hope it's not too long. But I think it's interesting. So we'll just get right to it. Continue. No. Oh, okay. I was like, where's my save? There it is. Yes. Okay. My setup is so awkward because like my mic is... Hold on. My mic is in front of my laptop and I cannot see. Maybe that's better. I hope it's better. I'm gonna adjust it a bit. Hold on. Okay. Where did we leave off on? On Carlos and Jimmy. Let's go check on Jimmy. My mother had always complained that I never exercised. She would always say that if I ever needed to run away from bad guys, I would be dead in just a few steps. There were not that many bad guys in the world. Besides, even if there were, I think I could just stay in my room and not go outside. He's kind of real for that though. It is the information era after all. As long as I can get information online, I can play with the real world in the palm of my hand. Yet even though I managed to dodge all of the recruiting activities for the school sports meet, my roommate had totally ruined my perfect plan. Today was the all-school sports meet. I thought I could have made up an excuse like a foot injury so that I wouldn't even have to sit under a tree and I could just stay in my room and play on my computer. But Rocky had signed me up for that 4x400 relay race without me even knowing about it. Oh, his roommate's Rocky. And now I had to stand under the scorching sun. 400 meters, madness. The last time I had been in a race was... Now I think about it, it's getting hotter here for some reason. It's gonna be like 85. And I'm starting to feel it now. I hadn't even hit puberty. I thought I might die on the track today. Emoticon. The gun went off. I took it from his hand. I never knew that Rocky was so fast. Our team was actually in first place during his third leg run. Still, why was I the final leg? Oops. What were people thinking? There was something else I could do but run like my life depended on it. The people along the track were cheering for me. I couldn't really tell who they were, but this actually felt pretty great. I was only 50 meters from the finish line and no one had caught up with me yet. I must have underestimated myself, haha. Look at me, Mom, your son is about to win a race. I looked straight ahead to the finish line, then I saw her. I saw my crush! Oh no. Don't distract me at such a moment. It was too late. I had only lost my focus for 1 second and the tip of my foot tripped over a bump on the track. My entire body left the ground and then my face smashed to the ground. How embarrassing. By the time I got back up, the other teams had all run past the finish line. Oh no! Jimmy is such a boy failure, kinda. Like, okay, loser, I guess. Although Head had just suffered a fire, the Pitt Street 99 was still open for business. It was a small and old building. The walls were covered with flyers and graffiti. I walked in the main gate and saw a narrow staircase. There was also a small desk at the bottom of the stairs facing the entrance. A man with spiky hair was sitting behind the desk with his legs crossed. He put down the magazine, which had a woman with big breasts on the cover, and asked what I was doing there. Okay. I told him that a man in a long black trench coat had told me to come here. Trench coat? Everyone here wears a trench coat. I'm telling you, this is not some place that you can just walk in. You better get out of here before I stab you with a knife. Spiky hair picked up the magazine again. I tried to recall what the guy looked like. White shirt, gray vest, short black hair that was combed to the back. He also had a big guy in a black suit with a scarred face by his side. A scarred face? Mr. Tough? Hold on. Does the guy you're talking about have his right hand? Spiky hair put down his magazine in his leg, leaned toward me and asked quietly, right hand? I couldn't remember exactly, but I did remember that he had picked up my phone with his left hand. He shouted upstairs. Mr. Kwan, the guy you've been waiting for is here. I looked at the staircase with anticipation. However, the man who came down was not the one I had met. He was wearing a leather jacket and a pair of sunglasses. He had high cheekbones and he looked much older. He took me all the way to a suburb on the back of his motorcycle. Mr. Kwan spoke very fluent English. He told me that the building we had just been in was the headquarters of the Black Dragon Gang, the biggest gang in Hong Kong. Wait, I didn't lower the music before I started. stream again. Hold on. I don't know if it's loud. We'll do like that. There you go. It's also loud to me. There you go. He had instructed Mr. Kwan to induct me as a pledge. Oh, he is joining a gang. Oh, okay. He's getting closer to his sister, though. A pledge was a potential candidate to join the gang, but before officially admitting me, Mr. Kwan to make sure if I was qualified. Mr. Kwan put a gun in my hand. I was stunned. You don't have to do it. If you're not willing to do this, we can leave right now. You'll just pretend that you've never met me. Mr. Kwan took a small metal box out of his pocket and threw a piece of gum in his mouth. No, I'll do it. I couldn't let go of any chance to find Alicia. Besides, I had a brilliant idea. I went into a convenience store nearby. Most of the goods on the shelves seemed to be used goods. Some of them were covered with a thick layer of dust. Bro, so he's willingly gonna rob a store to join this gang? The owner looked like he was over 60. He was reading a book behind the counter. It was just the two of us in the store. I walked up to the counter, smashed my left hand down on it, lifted the gun with my right hand, and pointed it at his head. Carlos! I yelled in my meanest voice, give me all your money, or I'm gonna blow your head open. Then I whispered to the old man what was going on, making sure that Mr. Kwong would be able to hear me. I was so nervous, even though I had no intention of robbing him for real. I handed him what was in my hand. Please. The owner put down his book and looked at me pleadingly. Well, we need money here for my wife's hospital bill. I can't give it to you. Everything else in this shop, if you like, is all yours, please, please. Apparently he had only heard my threats, not my whispers. Tears rolled down my face. I must have lost my mind to be robbing a poor old man like this. Even if it was all fakes, I never should have done this. I handed the gun to the owner and loudly told him why I was here and what I had been through. To my utter surprise, after hearing my story, the owner offered to help me ask about my sister, and even asked if I would be willing to stay here and help out in the store. He said I was welcome to stay as long as I didn't mind the little wage he could afford. I gave the old man a huge hug. Outside the store, Mr. Kwan had already left. I would never see him again. I started working at the store while looking for information about Alicia. Days went by, but I still hadn't heard anything. Lord, what should I do to find my sister? Should I join the gang instead? No, we're gonna make him join a gang? Oh my god. I kinda wanna be like, maybe some secrets are better left uncovered, Carlos. But, okay, if he wants to find his sister that badly. Sequence special restriction that we talked about before. Are we gonna kill the old man? If you put I handed him and I took it from, both on the left side, the former has to happen after the latter. Wait, I handed him, I took it from him. Because you can't hand the baton over and then have it back again. Oh, okay. Furthermore, if you put the gun went off piece on the left side too, it has to happen before the match begins, so there is another sequence restriction on this piece too. All sequence restrictions are labeled by a number. The pieces with smaller numbers cannot be placed after the pieces with larger numbers. Since the aforementioned restrictions only apply to the left side, there is a straight vertical line in the middle of the red diamond. And the number is marked on the left side of the line. Oh boy, I'm completely lost. Haha, that's not all. You'll get used to all these red signs eventually. Okay then, I'll try my best to remember them. I mean, the numbers are right there, so... This music is hella tense. Okay, so we have to make it so that Jimmy's not the last leg. And then we have to help Carlos kill an innocent guy. Okay. That's fine. So this can't go after here. Right? Because we want Jimmy to be in the not last. No! Apparently he had only heard my threats but not my whispers. No matter how hard I tried to signal him, the old man could not get my hints. Just when I was about to get up, the gun went off by accident. There was blood everywhere. I ran out of the store, completely forgot about Mr. Kwan, and began running back the way we had come from. Mr. Kwan never tried to catch me. A few people on the street gave me some strange looks. They must have thought I was a madman. I wasn't mad. I was guilty. I was guilty of killing someone. I had to confess. I must confess. Before since I was sitting in the police station, there were blisters on both of my feet. Lord, I have to confess. Please forgive me. Oh, I'm sorry, Carlos. I finally handed the baton off to the next leg. If I had to take one more step, I was going to throw up blood and die right there. Right there. The contrast between Jimmy and his little, like, high school life versus Carlos trying to find his sister who's been human trafficked and is trying to join a gang in order to find her is crazy. Our team was in second place. It was all to Rocky now. Rocky soon finished the first 200 meters, but something didn't seem right. Had he eaten something bad today? In the end, not only did Rocky fail to pass Class 2, he was eventually passed by Class 4, 10 meters away from the finish line. Oh. Alright. I don't know. Okay, this is something different. I'm trying to figure out, like... Oh, he still dies. Okay, he had already taken a few bills out of his drawer and handed them to me. I was about to leave, but the gun went off by accident. Okay. I left the store and handed the bloodstained plastic bag to Mr. Kwan. He checked the money inside. Then he said I had passed the test. I didn't speak at first, and I grabbed the bag from Mr. Kwan's hand and began running back the way we had come from. Mr. Kwan never tried to catch me. Okay. The gun went off by accident? That sounds like a skill issue, Carlos. It's rank A. Hold on. I will come back. But I just remember that there's like a... Here. Yes. There you go. So, like... Please? I don't know. What if I just put please? I don't know. So I don't know what this would do. Okay, this is much better. The gun went off. Okay. Everything had been going well. He had accepted my cell phone quietly, which I had hidden in my left palm, which I slammed my hand down on the counter. He had also taken the few large bills out of the drawer and handed them to me. I was about to leave, but the gun went off by accident. I left the store and handed the blood-stained plastic bag to Mr. Kwan. How dare you play a trick on me? You think the Black Dragon gang is just a joke? He punched me in the head, knocked me to the ground, then he gave me several heavy kicks to the stomach. The passers-by around us all hurried away, afraid of being caught in the middle. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry, dude. Okay, so gun's not supposed to go off. I don't know. I hid the only valuable thing I owned in my left palm when I smashed my hand down on the counter, my cell phone. The owner looked outside the window and seemed to understand what was going on. He accepted the cell phone quietly and took the few large bills out of the drawer, which was worth much more than my phone, and handed them to me. Thank you so much, Mr. Owner. I left the store and handed the plastic bag with money to Mr. Kwan. How dare you play a trick on me? Okay. Sag. So, he's definitely... Jimmy's definitely not supposed to be this one. Let me just switch them. This is also different. Oh, I think I did it. I finally handed the baton off to the next leg. If I had to take one more step, I was going to throw blood and I ran out, blah blah. Rocky soon finished the first 200 meters. But something didn't seem right. Had he eaten something bad today? So the please has to go with Jimmy, huh? Let's go, Rocky, go, go, go. I value ice cream. Now that I had participated, I wanted us to win too. I couldn't help but start cheering Rocky on. Many of the people around me were cheering for him too. I never knew that participating in this kind of event could actually feel pretty great. Rocky suddenly sped up. He finally ran past Class 2 with 10 meters left. He crossed the finish line first. Well done. We were happily hugging and shoving each other near the finish line. My stomach hurt a little. Can we do barbecue instead of ice cream? You're funny. I pushed Rocky aside and caught a glimpse of someone. It was my crush! And she was looking at us. And she was smiling! Wow, I never knew I could get this kind of reward for participating in the meet. I felt so happy, so happy. Okay, buddy. Okay, well... That's interesting. There's no other letters, so I think I'm still fucking up somehow with him. Maybe I just need to like swap this. Oh. Oh no, it doesn't apply. Maybe this way? That's crazy. Oh, let me put this here. Oh, the owner was so frightened that he was shaking. He immediately took the few large bills out of a drawer and handed them to me. Apparently, he had only heard my threats, not my whispers. Looking upon a 60-year-old man with an ailing wife at home, crying and begging me to spare his life, I could barely hold the tears in myself. Mr. Conduct took money from my hand with a satisfied look on his face. I was then admitted into the Black Dragon gang. Okay. A few days later in the evening, I took a motorcycle from someone else in the group and came back to the store. I stuffed all of the money I had borrowed for the past few days under the rolling door of the store. Sorry and thank you, Mr. Owner. I see. Okay. Accomplished. I have more mail. Oh, who?
¿Por qué me pasan este tipo de cosas?
The lives in group loyalty? The lives in group loyalty. Who is this? It's a child. My name is Park Sang-eun. I'm 12 years old. I live in Korea. My home was on a hill. There were a lot of similar old houses on that hill. And the one that was the highest was my home. There were good and bad things about living there. The good thing was, since our house was so high up, we got to be farther away from the other houses, and so we had a big yard. Hold on. I need to remember to hydrate because my voice is giving out. Okay. However, I had to climb the stairs for over half an hour every day just to go and buy my dad a bottle of vodka at the convenience store at the bottom of the hill. If I didn't go, my dad would get angry. He'd... Oh, okay. It wasn't just me either. He would also hit my mom too. I never understood why he would do that. I just wished that if we could figure it out, maybe mom wouldn't have to be beaten anymore. Oh, okay. But for the past 2 months, he always came home clean. Sometimes he would bring back some money and give it to mom. Other times, though, he would take some money out of the pot where we kept our food money. Mom always worked very hard. She had to wash a lot of clothes and sheets during the day for other people. She said she was getting paid for watching them. I really wanted to help mom, but I was too short. I couldn't even reach the pole where she hung the clothes and sheets up. Alex came by today. He lived on the hill, too. Alex was Russian, just like mom. Oh, they both had blonde hair and blue eyes, just like me. The other kids who lived nearby didn't like me at all. They always said that I looked weird. Only Sumi from the bakery would play with me. She had once told me that she wanted to open a cake shop together with me, but I didn't like cakes. There was an ant nest in our yard. I was watching the ants carrying things into their nest. I bet they must have a very big home. Suddenly it started raining. A large raindrop almost blocked the entrance to the nest. I went back inside to get an umbrella, then I came back and covered the nest. Mom and Alex were taking the sheets back inside. Then Dad came home. He was Korean. He had black hair and brown eyes. He was back earlier than usual today. He saw Alex there and kicked the umbrella away, and Alex left. Mom went into the house with Dad. I followed them inside as well. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh no, it was as if she had fallen asleep. I tried to shake her awake. I tried as hard as I could, shouted as loud as I could. She would not wake up. I heard the door open behind me. I turned around. Dad had run out. I didn't know where he was going. Fucking piece of shit. I held onto Mom's arm and cried. Why? I had always been a good child. God, please let Mom wake up. I promise I will be an even better child. I promise I'll never be a bastard ever again. Listen, literally every single letter is really depressing. How are you doing, Carlos? I had been a member of the Black Dragon gang for 2 months, but I was still yet to officially meet Mr. Lin. Mr. Lin was the second in command of the Black Dragon gang. We met once on the day of the fire at Pitt Street 99. He was also the one who had inducted me into the gang. I thought I would be able to get some information about my sister once I joined the gang. But soon I had found out that everyone in my group, including our leader Mr. Kwan, knew nothing about her. As for Mr. Lin himself, he rarely ever came to number 99 in person. Still, there were some upsides from joining the gang. At least I didn't have to worry about room and board anymore. My Cantonese is also improving a lot. Besides, not everyone in the gang was as scary as one would expect of a gang member. Ren was one of the nice guys. I belonged to the group loyalty team. The group oversaw the loan business, so we were essentially the loan sharks in the gang. Carlos, now that I had become a member, I couldn't just coast along without doing anything, but I also didn't want to do wrong things. I told Ren about my predicament during one of our conversations. Ren then told Mr. Kwan that he wanted to bring me along when we went debt collecting. Every time we went, Ren would whisk the kids of the families away first. Then I would tear apart their old clothes, spill some chicken blood on them, and mail the clothing to the debtors. Once we were sure that the debtors had received the bloody codes, Ren would then make a phone call. Hey, you've got the package, right? I'm giving you 3 days. If you still don't have our money, you'll be getting more than just clothes next time. He sounded like Uncle Wayne, the big butcher at the street corner with a violent attitude. The afro on his head would bounce 3 times with a rhythm every time he yelled at his customers. As soon as he put down the phone, he would immediately turn into a preschool teacher and go play with our hostages, who were wearing the new clothes we had just bought them. Ren would get scolded by Mr. Kwan every once in a while. He said Hong Kong was too small of a place. If everyone learned how group loyalty handled the business, it would become more and more difficult to collect the money, but Ren never took it seriously. Ren knew that I had come to Hong Kong to find my sister. Even though he couldn't help much, he would always allow me to go out and look for her whenever there weren't any assignments. Every time Mr. Kwan asked about me, he would also cover for me. Just like today, I had been out asking around the whole morning, but I still got nothing. When I got back to number 99, everyone in the group seemed to have a strange smirk on their faces. Ren said they were going to go and get a massage. Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought so. Well, on paper, sex work is technically prohibited in Hong Kong. Okay. Red light districts. Erotic site during the night. Massages, foot spa nightclub. There are girls from all over the world available. Oh, okay. I laughed knowingly. Help yourself to the beer on the table. I paid for those. We're off. Oh, and I almost forgot. There's someone in the room who Mr. Kwan had told us to keep an eye on to let her get away. Then they left. A girl was tied to a chair in the corner of the room. Although there was a cloth stuffed in her mouth, she still seemed very pretty. She looked Asian, but she had dark skin like mine. Her eyes were thin and curly like a pair of new moons. Her shining black hair draped down from her head like a dark waterfall. And she was wearing a purple short skirt. It looked like the skirt had been torn on its side. Well, if Mr. Kwan wanted her watched, then I should just watch her. No need to think too much about it. I slapped my cheeks to keep myself alert. I raised the bottle. Then a rope snapped. I was reading the labels on Ren's beers when I heard the sound of a rope snapping. Before I could turn around, I felt a hand strike the back of my neck. I blacked out. I didn't know how long had passed. A bucket of cold water was thrown on my face. I woke up with a shudder and opened my eyes. Ooh. I saw Mr. Kwan standing right in front of me. Everybody was back in the room. They all had a terrible look on their faces. I looked at the corner again. The chair was still there, and there were 2 halves of a rope on the floor. The girl was gone. Oh crap, I had made a terrible mistake. Ren tossed a knife over to me and looked away. I had not been in the group for long, but I knew the rules. If I wanted to stay, I had to do this. I bit my lip hard and cut off my left pinky finger. Half of the bloody finger dropped to the floor. Blood was still gushing out. It hurt like hell, but I was a man. I didn't make a sound. Who on earth was that girl? If only I'd been more alert. Why did he cut off his own pinky finger? It's a ritual in the mafia and some gangs. If you make a mistake, you must cut off your own pinky finger. Some gangs might even make their new members cut it off before officially joining. That's kind of messed up. Carlos, what are you doing? What are you doing, Carlos? Dude, nothing's going great. Nothing's going right. Hold on. So... we do something about the rope, I guess. Let me think this through, because I keep making many wrong decisions. Choked her. I'm kind of concerned because I feel like someone's gonna die regardless. We'll just pick it and see what happens. Okay. This is how you watch someone? Oh, because she kills herself. I quickly turned around. Oh my lord. Earlier the girl had seemed to be having a seizure. Her entire body was shaking and she kept hitting the wall with her head. I was afraid that she would hurt herself too much, so I adjusted the rope on her, but I didn't realize that the rope had become tighter and tighter while she was struggling and that she almost couldn't breathe. Thank God Mr. Kwan came back early and noticed that. Otherwise, I would have made an unforgivable mistake. Okay. The rope fell out of Dad's hands. He was about to pick it up when the doorbell rang. Dad then went into the yard. It sounded like Alex had brought some people over to intervene. He'd once tried to do it by himself, but he was badly beaten by Dad and kicked out. He never dared to come back on his own since. When Dad returned from the store, he seemed to have forgotten about what was going on. The fucking bitch. He just gave me a kick when he walked past me and went straight to bed. Mom sat on the ground and cried. I climbed over into her arms just like I always did. Every time Dad lost his temper, we would huddle together like this. It was the only way we could make ourselves feel better. We were lucky enough to get through it this time, but what about next time? How long did we have to keep living like this? I hated to be so scared all the time. I wished I never had a dad like him. Let's kill him. Easy. I raised the bottle. Maybe just like this. Oh, the music's different. I think I did it. The others had come back from the massage as well. We were all standing next to the wall and no one dared make a sound. From Mr. Kwan's questions, I learned that the girl's name was Yi. Mr. Kwan had only met her recently. Mr. Kwan had even bought her an apartment. Mr. Kwan was a tough man, but he had always been very gentle to women, and he had never slept around either. Sure, okay, therefore he couldn't tolerate being betrayed by his woman. A few days ago, he had found out that Yi had been hanging out with people from the Blood Gang. He began to suspect that she had been approaching him with other intentions, and he decided to find out the truth. Mr. Kwan dumped a bucket of ice water on her head. The air conditioning had been set to max power and at 16 degrees Celsius, and it was blowing directly at her. Every time she would not answer a question, he would cut off some of her hair, slap her in the face. Okay. Yi was quite tough though. Her mouth had started bleeding. Almost all of her hair had been cut off, and she still hadn't spoken once. Mr. Kwan was tougher. He sent Ren to fetch him a bottle of white flower oil. Oh my god, okay. Jesus Christ. Yi was not just a member of the Blood Gang, she was also the niece of their big boss, Mr. Chang. But that wasn't what had angered Mr. Kwan the most. Yi hadn't seduced him to infiltrate group loyalty for her own business. She was only trying to get closer to the other groups of the Black Dragon Gang. She had only chosen Mr. Kwan because he was single and therefore an easier and more convenient target for her. Ah. Mr. Kwan was outraged and feeling incredibly insulted. Carlos, take care of this bitch. Never let me see her again. Okay. I must stop Dad. I climbed up onto the table and smashed the vodka bottle onto his head. He suddenly stopped and fell to the ground on his back. Something dark and red was coming out of Dad's head and onto the floor. Honestly, good riddance. His mom sat back up. Her face was pale like a piece of paper. She coughed violently for a while and cried. I carefully climbed off of the table and ran into her arms, just like I always did. Every time Dad lost his temper, we would huddle together like this. It was the only way we could make ourselves feel better. I didn't know what Dad would do to us when he woke up. I wished I never had a dad like him. Yeah, what the hell? Why is his father so cruel? Why would someone kill his own wife? Thank goodness we could help him. Who knows? Maybe his father was mentally ill. Humans are easily stressed. Some people would ease their stress by exercising, overeating, or smashing things. Some people, however, became twisted. He was so young. If only he hadn't had a father like this. If he never had his father, he would not have existed. You're right. Does that mean I had a father too? You're a god, so of course not. Don't overthink it. Get back to work. Damn. This is so tragic. Like what the— there's a cat! Oh my god. Cat? Dude, that was the most fake ass cat meow I've ever heard. Now it kind of made me uncomfortable. Let's do the cat first. Please, I was a stray kitten. Daddy called me Spotty. Daddy was like a daddy to me. He was an older homeless cat who had always taken care of me. Ever since he found me, he would always bring me with him wherever he went. He had given me my name too. He had told me it was because of the yellow spots on my tail. Whenever we found some goodies, Daddy would always let me have the first bite. He would stroke my head and tell me, "Kiddo, help yourself. You're only 3 months old, you need more food to grow up." I always liked Daddy the best. Today, Daddy was going to take me to the hill and catch some birdies, but it started raining heavily. Daddy said that because of the rain, the birdies wouldn't come out for the sunbath today. So we had to go back to the street like yesterday and look for some goodies to eat. I hope we could find more tasty chicken legs and fish sticks, meow. Unlike in the wild, there are many, many two-legged animals walking on the street. Daddy told me they are called humans. Because of the humans, the street was always very crowded all day and all night. Sometimes when we came to a place where there were a lot of humans, a few female humans would excitedly meow at me. What a cutie! And if I let them touch my head with their paws, I could often get some goodies too. But Daddy always wanted me to keep my distance from them. Daddy said that humans are not to be trusted. The street was... Oh, I don't have a good feeling about this one either. The street was just across the road. I could see the shop with the fish sign from here. But we had to wait for the light to change. Daddy explained that the traffic laws in Korea are very strict. The fine is over 20,000. If we were caught, even if we turned in all of our hidden dried fish treats, it wouldn't be enough. And there were many iron beasts running so fast in the streets. Daddy said those beasts are made by humans and they are called cars. They're very dangerous and you must be careful not to get hit. So we must obey the law, meow. The light finally turned green. I sprinted a little and went ahead. Daddy followed me slowly. He was a little old and he had been injured before, so he couldn't see very well. A beast near us suddenly let a huge roar, a bang, and smoke came out from under it. Cats, do they have pointy ears and a long tail? Yes. And they know how to watch the traffic lights? Yes. They know how to write letters too? Good question. Maybe they can write in their own language. We are gods, so we will always receive the translated version of their letters. That's fascinating. I wonder what the original letter looks like. Oh. Excuse me? The beast seemed to have suddenly become shorter, and it was charging directly towards Daddy, screeching and screaming. It was a green light, meow. The ground was covered with water and it was very slippery. I heard a sound like a slip. I looked back. He had slipped. I ran over trying to grab him. The beast ran... No... No, it's the kid with the abusive dad. Huh? No! Oh my god. What the fuck? They gave me an illustration for this? They didn't give me an illustration. They didn't give me any CGs for anything else. Excuse me? What about like Jimmy's like school day? You didn't give me a CG for that. I get a CG for this. Oh my god. No. Spotty, no. Oh my god. Okay, I was like, cat story, and then maybe it'll be cute. No, it fucking dies. Please. Damn. I had always hated running. I'd rather run 100 laps in the field. So I decided to simply Google similar reports online without the lieutenant noticing. After lots of copying, pasting, and rearranging, I finally completed the 10,000 word report. I felt exhausted afterwards, so I went to the bathroom to wash my face. I could still feel the impact of my organs after falling on the cushion. Man, I'm still kind of sad about Spotty. Fortunately, I was fit enough to endure. A regular person would probably have to stay in the hospital for a few days. I looked in the mirror and saw a band-aid on my face. I gave myself a proud smile. I was just getting out of the bathroom when I witnessed something incredible with my own eyes. Lieutenant King was holding a folder in front of him. Even though his face was mostly hidden behind it, I could still clearly see his expression from where I was. The cigarette he had in his mouth was slightly twisted. Some watery stuff was coming out from his eyes. They were, without a doubt, tears. Is this really the eccentric dictator that I had been hearing about? And should I leave the room now? Should I? Officer Minjin had left the office a while ago. The lieutenant must have thought I had gone home too. If he saw that I was still in the office right now, would he kill me for seeing all that? I was still struggling with the most difficult decision in the history of mankind when Lieutenant King closed the folder. I quickly hid back in the bathroom and didn't come back out until I heard him walking out of the office wing. I looked around the office and realized that I was alone. I couldn't help but start walking closer to Lieutenant King's desk without even realizing it myself. The folder was still on the desk. It was a red folder. It said Archives of Criminal Investigation, Unit 2 on its cover. Phew. Unit 2. Oh no, I heard that a few years ago the entirety of Unit 2 had been killed in a violent incident. Afterward, Unit 2 became the only unit in the Busan Police Criminal Investigation Department that had a designation but no members. Some people called it a ghost unit. Due to the severity of the case, no one in the station would talk about it, especially the older officers who had been at the precinct when it happened. Why did Lieutenant King care so much about Unit 2? Had he lost some colleagues during the incident? Wait, why did I care? It had nothing to do with me. I should just mind my own business. I went back to my seat. I created a new document on my computer. Then I typed the title, Unit Transfer Request. But I couldn't think of another word afterwards. My brain was totally blank. I must have been worn out after writing that damn report today. I was straining my brain to figure out what to say next when a big hand slapped my shoulder. Yo, the new guy at Unit 4 is working hard. I wish my people could be half as diligent as you. The voice sounded as loud and powerful as a booming bullhorn. I almost jumped out of my skin when I suddenly heard it behind my back. Hold on, I need a drink. Phew. Okay, I almost jumped out of my skin when I suddenly heard it behind my back. I turned around. It was Lieutenant Kim Jong-ho of Unit 3. I stood up from the chair quickly and gave him a salute. He waved his hand. Young man, no need to be so formal. Go take a bath and rest in the spa. Don't work too hard. I checked the time. I didn't even realize that it was almost 11 p.m. The spa room inside the precinct was even bigger than my apartment. It was incredibly clean. It would be incredible to finish the day with a hot bath. I breathed in the steam, looking forward to a relaxing evening. Am I reading this guy's diary entry? What's happening? I took off my clothes and slipped them inside a locker. I closed the locker door and turned around. Lieutenant King was right there. He just got undressed. He was in great shape with lean muscles all over his body. I didn't want to admit it, but when he was not screaming at me, Lieutenant King was actually a rather handsome man, despite being a little disheveled. Yowie? I used to hear a rumor that, despite his peculiar personality, he was still able to keep his position in no small part thanks to the solid support from the female police officers in the Criminal Investigation Unit. Are you serious? I guess that made sense, does it? I had already witnessed the female officers from other units smiling at the lieutenant in the hallway quite a few times on my first day alone. Because he's good looking? What about his shit personality? Why didn't anyone smile at me? Speaking of which, not only was Unit 4 a small team, it was also a sausage unit. Okay. If only we had an awesome female officer in the unit as well. I hadn't talked to Lieutenant King after he yelled at me that afternoon. And now you were standing in front of each other completely naked. This was not awkward at all. We got in and out of the hot tub after a spa session that seemed to last forever, then we went back to the locker room. We put on our clothes and we were about to leave. We never said a word to each other the whole time. What is this? I was hoping I could relieve some of the tension between us. May I write a letter to him? Why? I want to ask for a picture of his boss next time. Girly. I suppose I was too naive. A piece of soap appeared out of nowhere and stopped near us. He reached out. I was taking my clothes out of my locker when I heard a noise. I turned around and saw what had just happened. My eyes involuntarily looked down. I looked back at myself, and then looked at the lieutenant again. This time our eyes met, and I could see something menacing in his eyes. Oh my god. I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't even see anything. Okay, fine, actually I did see something. But I really didn't mean to. I was so scared. Wait, what? Wait, what? I'm misunderstanding something. Even if my request to transfer was approved, I wouldn't be able to get out tomorrow. Maybe tonight. The lieutenant would just kill me. Please, Buddha. Please tell me, what should I do? What exactly did he see? Yeah, what? Tell me. I have no idea. What did he see? Hold on. Excuse me? What? What? A piece of soap appeared out of nowhere and stopped near us? I'm so confused because they put on their clothes, right? So they're clothed. He saw something. Did he slip on the soap? I don't understand. A piece of soap? Oh my god. Okay, fuck you, whatever this guy's name was. I need to worry about the cat, okay? This one. We'll put all the slippery letters. This one. Oh. If only I'd reached out to grab him sooner. No, I should have gone and picked up that soap. Oh boy. So he did slip on the soap. Daddy jumped ahead just in time, and the beast missed him. Lucky! Yippee! Oh, the beast kept running with smoke coming out from under it and ran straight into the next crossing. It was another red light. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. Man, wait, no, the little kid's in there. Okay, hold on. What do I do with the soap? Like, what does the soap do? Okay, so apparently I need the officer guy to grab his boss. Did I just do something that I shouldn't have done? Or did I just forget to do something I should have done? I had no idea which one it was. Huh? Huh? Okay, hold on. My god. Okay, wait, hold on. Don't grab him? The soap is not supposed to be here. But like I'm supposed to stop the car somehow, but also save the cat, you know? But the cat, anyways. I accidentally caught a glance of Lieutenant King when I was taking my clothes out of my locker. Wow, his body was really top notch. Okay, great. It was still wet and drops of water were streaming down his skin. Okay? For any woman in the world, I'm sure that Lieutenant King's hotness must be off the chart. Okay? A very bro thing to admire another your boss's body. Okay. I didn't know what got into him, but I reached out and grabbed his arm. What the fuck? What the hell? Hold on. Wait, hold on. Can I like no anyways? I don't even know how appropriate that is to show his stream. My Fujoshi dreams are coming true anyways. Okay, give me like 1 second. The lieutenant, I'll just read it out for you. The lieutenant stopped wiping his body and looked back and noticed me staring at him. They're blushing. Why did you grab him? He seemed to be asking me with his look. What are you doing? What was I doing? Strangely enough, I had no idea what I was doing either. I couldn't believe the air between us could get even more awkward than earlier in the spa room. This was a complete disaster. I knew I must let go of him immediately before this went even further. What? Before I could move, Lieutenant King reached out with his hand and grabbed my arm. I didn't know you were too... I didn't know... Wait, what? I didn't know you were too. Let me take you to a great place. Wait, actually? Okay, hold on. Let me put it back up. He's gay? Oh my god, the shock I got from that. What the hell? After we left the station, Lieutenant King took me to a bar. I would... unveil the hidden plot in the locker room? Oh my god. Wait, I got the yaoi plot. I would never have guessed that after that day, the relationship between Lieutenant King and I would turn into something completely unexpected. It's rank Z. You mean I don't get to keep this flag? Oh my god. Oh my god. Wait, actually? That's crazy. I'm so... Wait, no! There's gotta be a way that I can save the cat and have the yaoi plot continue. What the hell? No, I'm disappointed. Okay. How do I save the cat? That was so shocking though. Oh my god. I don't know what to do though. So am I allowed to see that again? Hold on. Z. out of a little curiosity, do I get to see the pictures? Okay. No, I don't get to see the pictures anymore. Oh my god. Maybe it's in collections. Oh yeah, there's an album. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so anyways. I can go back and look at that for my own purposes. Anyways. Z, that's so funny. Anyways. I'm so shocked. I'm just like actually like baffled that there's a secret yaoi plot that's just that it's rank Z. Okay, anyways, let's move on. Let's try this again. We're trying to save the cat. Hold on. So like the problem is he reached out, I ran over trying to grab him. Like I don't know. Okay, this is different, question mark? Okay, the locker room was filled with steam that was drifting through from the spa. Oh, that and the same awkwardness. We remained silent until we both left the locker room. I was hoping to relax on myself, but I felt even more tense now. The cat still dies? Okay. Okay. His body was top notch. That's great. It's lovely. I don't know what it got into, but I reached out and got a sign. Lieutenant King acted like he had been shocked. He punched back immediately without even looking back. Then he saw that it was me. His face turned totally steely green and his eyes were filled with anger. Never sneak up on me from behind ever again. My nose felt like it was on fire. I could feel blood coming at it, but I didn't dare to wipe it off. I had to stand there with one hand pinching my nose and watch as the lieutenant left the locker room. Ah, okay. So I still don't get it. I'm sorry. I feel like my concentration like just stopped. I lost my concentration after that yaoi plot. That kind of scared me. Okay, maybe he does not slip and you grab. Okay. The beast slipped in the water and turned to its side suddenly like it was drunk. What the hell? Daddy jumped ahead just in time and the beast missed him, lucky, but the beast had run into the rails not too far ahead and finally stopped on the grass. Soon a human walked out of the beast. He seemed to be okay and just started yelling while checking his beast's round feet. I looked at the beast. Its body had some words on it, but I couldn't read. But I had seen the sign next to it. I used to go hunting Birdie's daddy in a place far, far away. It was deep inside the mountains, but on top of the hill there was a building that smelled like drugs. Daddy told me that it was a hospital and had the same sign as the one of the beast. I remember thinking the hospital looked a little strange. The humans inside didn't look hurt at all to me, but none of them would smile. Some of them would burst into laughter or tears all of a sudden. They all looked a little strange, not like the humans we met in the city. Humans were so strange. Okay, so something's wrong here. That's the same. Maybe I put this here. Maybe we reach out. Yeah, okay. I pulled Lieutenant King up from the floor. Well, should I say something? Did that hurt, Lieutenant King? It didn't sound appropriate. I was thinking when Lieutenant King slipped away my hand. He mumbled something and turned back to his locker and got dressed as if nothing had happened. I went back to my locker in silence too. What did the lieutenant just say? I could see that his face was all red, maybe because of the heat. Perhaps he was just saying something like, shit, it's so fucking hot in here. That must be it. Can I have the yaoi plot? Like, is it... Please. I want to keep the yaoi plot. Like, clearly, like, the cat's fine. I think the order is wrong here. Maybe do this? No? I'm gonna Like, what am I supposed to do? My cat's S rank. Do I get to keep my yaoi plot? I would love that, actually. Look at Spotty! A noble stray cat from Korea. That's nice. How old is he? 23? Oh, I don't get to know how old he is, but he's in like his 30s or something, I bet. Well, I have a new ship. We'll see. No, but like, I actually don't get it. I feel like it was close when it was like this. No, when it was like this. I went back to my locker in silence. I don't know what this piece of soap is. What? I grabbed Lieutenant King, tried to pull him up, but I slipped and fell too. We had to go back to the hot tub and take another bath to clean ourselves. The water was still very warm, but I was already used to the temperature after the first time. Lieutenant King wrapped his towel around his neck again. He didn't close his eyes this time, though. He just seemed to be staring blankly ahead. It was only the two of us in the spa room. It was so quiet again. Nothing else was in the air except the steam from the water and the awkwardness. The tension. Maybe it was my imagination. But Lieutenant King almost looked like a normal, accessible person for a while. I was almost going to ask him something, but eventually I decided to let it go. It was already after work, maybe I shouldn't talk about it. Oh, okay, I guess. You don't understand. I really wanted that yaoi plot. I don't know why they had to tease me like that. Come on. Okay, moving on.
Carlos, te extraño.
Oh no, Alicia. The cargo shorts and the beach shirt. Is there a yaoi plot? I am manifesting it. And there's math here. I had been assigned here for a week. For the past few days, I had been trying to find the opportunity to write my transfer application and submit it to Lieutenant King. Yet every time when I sat down and tried to fill out the form, Lieutenant King would throw a bunch of paperwork at me and make me file them. It was almost like he knew what I was up to. None of this made any sense at all. As a police officer, shouldn't I be patrolling the city to stop crimes and helping people with everything I had? Even be ready to sacrifice myself for justice at a moment's notice? But this was so boring. Thank God I could still sometimes chat with Officer Minjun, a more senior officer in Unit 4, or I would have exploded out of boredom by now. Usually at this point, Minjun would say, "I'll lend you a grenade then." Minjun liked making these kinds of morbid firearm jokes, although I rarely found them funny. Life sucked. Yeah, man. I poured myself another glass and chugged it. I was at a bar called Crash where I would always come whenever I was feeling down. Every day after midnight, the bar would turn into a carnival. But around sunset, the atmosphere here was actually really nice, and it was the best time to come here and drink alone. I was sitting by the window and staring at the street blankly. Some words in the conversation at the next table suddenly caught my attention. A bald man in a Hawaiian shirt raised his bottle and said, "Bro, have you heard what happened to Group Gangman a few days ago?" His buddy, who was wearing a pair of beach shorts and sporting the most ridiculous hairstyle, laughed. "Of course. It's been heard all over our group, Yusung. That was really brutal for them to blow off half the head of Choi Yohan's son. Only Kang Baekya has the balls to do that." Huh? My ears perked up when I heard Lieutenant Kang's name out of the blue like that. The bald man continued. "I think it was pretty rad. The bastard was always so fucking annoying. He would come to our turf all the time looking for trouble just because of his good old daddy." The crazy-haired guy interrupted him. "Shut the fuck up, you idiot. Don't let anyone hear you say that. You're gonna get Boss Gio into trouble." The bald man immediately concurred. "Oh, sure. By the way, I've also heard that Choi Yohan is setting up a trap for Kang Baekya. It's going to be epic, hahaha." All of this is like flying, it's like in one ear, out the other. I do not understand. "Hey, watch it. Don't get so close to me. Wait, what did you mean by setting up a trap?" The bald man explained, "I heard that they had something on Kang Baekya and they'll use it to force him to turn himself over. You can guess what they're going to do to him next. I think it's supposed to be going down tonight over at the warehouses by the port." The crazy-haired guy didn't seem like he was buying it. Really, you think that would work? King was tough enough to take out a whole team on his own. The bald man got excited. We'll find out. Apparently they prepared barrels and concrete, and I've heard something about some other big surprise. Anyway, no matter which side loses, our boss Tree will be happy either way. I bet he's been looking forward to this day for a long time. Ahaha. I sobered up completely. I quickly checked my cell phone. It was 9 p.m. Now that I thought about it, Lieutenant King had gotten a delivery early today, and he had left the office soon afterwards. Did the delivery have anything to do with the trap? I knew I didn't quite get along with Lieutenant King, but no matter what, he was on the side of justice. Now that I knew that he was in danger, there was no way I could just sit aside and let it happen. Hi! I sneaked into the bathroom and immediately called the lieutenant. Nobody picked up. I then called the police station. Someone told me that nobody from Unit 4 was available. I had a really bad feeling. If I didn't get in touch with the lieutenant as soon as possible, the door opened and a person walked out. My reaction had been slowed down because of the alcohol. The young man who had just come out of the stall grabbed me by my hair and, you got caught, slammed me into the mirror above the sinks. That's gotta hurt. The mirror was smashed and was broken glass all over the ground. Just before I passed out, I heard someone say, "You dirty cop, are you trying to snitch on our own turf? Screw you." When I woke up, I found myself lying in a big, empty warehouse. The gate was locked from the outside, and I could see the evening stars through the windows high above the wall. Oh man, how long had I been out for? Was Lieutenant King already at the port? Chen Gyeongmin. Alright, get caught. Yeah, the letters, you kind of missed some, but the letters have been getting darker. But you also just missed like a side like yaoi plot that wasn't actually part of the story. It was like one of the endings for one of the letters that I just randomly got. And honestly, I wish it was like canon. I had to make it the true ending though, so we're moving on. Hong Kong was a strange city. It was quite small, but it felt like such a big city. It was while it was busy and rich, there were also many poor people, including numerous homeless people wandering the streets. Yeah, you should have seen it. Maybe I can show you. Like they were like in like the steam or whatever room. Yeah, come on. Also, yeah, I didn't finish that game yet. I just got busy with school and then I never continued it. But I'll probably finish it on my own maybe. But like they were like in a, so it was like the police guy and his boss, and they had like a bath in the building or something. So they both happened to take a bath at the same time. And then I messed around with the letters and stuff, and then they like grabbed each other and like looked each other in the eyes, and then the boss was like, "Oh, are you also ... and then took him to a bar, and I was like, okay. And that wasn't the rank S ending. That was like it said rank Z, and I was like, what? Yeah, it is a lot of reading, but like this is also a lot of reading, so they called it rank Z. It was like a secret like side ending, but it's not good enough to continue the story. I was like, damn, you should have just made that rank S. I mean, rank Z is cool. It should have been. They should have kept it. In a moment, I will like show you the CG minimized. Okay. We'll go through this first. Hong Kong was a strange city. It was quite small, but it felt like such a big city. While it was busy and rich, there were also many poor people, including numerous homeless people wandering the streets. I'd hoped to go to America, but I ended up being kidnapped and brought to Hong Kong. I didn't have any money on me. I didn't know if I could even survive here, not to mention go to America. I began to look at the hiring flyers on the walls. Teamsters, engineers, masseurs. I don't remember what happened to her, but I guess she got out. One day I saw that there was a nightclub looking for a pub singer. The club was called Melody Hall. It sat in the middle of the most popular location on Portland Street in Mongkok. The club was huge and the guests were all dressed like royalty. Everyone that came to audition for the job was sitting in the lobby waiting for their turn. Several middle-aged men were sitting below the stage looking terribly bored. Oh, we haven't seen her this whole time. She's pretty. I chose to sing one of my favorite songs and it was my turn. It was a folk song from my hometown. It's called Little Lamb Billy. After my parents passed away, my brother and I were soon sent to the orphanage. Okay, water break. Okay. I get like out of breath just reading, which kind of just shows how little I actually talk normally. For long time afterwards, Carlos seemed to have shut down entirely. He could sit there for an entire day without saying a single word. He was only 3. There was nothing near the orphanage but hills and mountains. I liked to take him hiking and would talk to him on top of the mountain or sing to him. We would stay there for a whole day sometimes. However, he still wasn't talking. One day when I was singing, I suddenly thought to myself, was this going to last forever? Would Carlos never talk to me again? I had to stop the song. I couldn't stop myself from thinking depressing thoughts. I cried. Why are you crying, Alicia? Carlos was pulling on my arm and I saw him looking at me with his clear eyes. That day he had finally returned to me. The song I had been singing that day was Little Lamb Billy. I stood in front of the elevator. I was thinking about the song I just sang and the days when we had lived in the orphanage. I couldn't help but hum the song again. I felt a sudden tap on my shoulder. It was one of the men who had been sitting below the stage earlier. Miss, there is something that you should know. His eyes were almost shut as he smiled at me. It is quite a hassle to hire a foreigner like you who has no papers. You won't be able to find another job in all of Hong Kong. However, I think you are really terrific. I would love to hire you as long as you... Oh. No! I was taken aback and tried to move away, but he grabbed my wrist. I had never been in a situation like this in my entire life. I was horrified. My poor girl. I tried to shake him off with all my strength. I scratched his face with my nails, leaving a red mark. He felt as safe as his hand as I was running away. You... okay. Excuse me? I ran into a small alley and hid behind a dumpster. After what seemed to be an eternity, I could no longer hear the people who were running after me. I fell to the ground. I felt violated and ashamed. No, my tears are running out of my eyes as if all my suffering had come back to haunt me. Carlos, I miss you so much. Was there any red text here? There was no red text to like hint at something. Okay, but like hold on. Let me show you. It was this one. I think I can just go to the history. There it is, the Z ending. So like it was I put like he reached out, I ran over to grab him. And like this guy's just admiring his boss's body no matter what. But then he like I didn't know what gotten into me, but I reached out and grabbed his arm. And then he said blah 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 blah. Strangely enough, I had no idea what I was doing either. I couldn't believe the air between us could get even more awkward than earlier in the spa room. It was a complete disaster. I knew I must let him go. Let's go of him immediately pulled his way in for her. Before I could even move, Lieutenant King reached out with his hand and grabbed my arm. I didn't know you were too. Let me take you to a great place. After we left the station, Lieutenant King took me to a bar. I would never have guessed that after that day, the relationship between Lieutenant King and I would turn into something completely unexpected. Like, I thought that like scared me, that rank Z ending, and then I have to move on because it's not the correct ending. It has to be. It should be. That's the happy ending. Oh my god. And then I don't know how like much I'm allowed to show on Twitch, but we can like look at it minimized. They made a CG for it too. Oh, do you like see it in the corner here? Anyways, that's all you see. There's no explicit anything in there, so it's probably fine. Anyways, saucy. Moving on. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to fix here because it doesn't hint me to change anything. Oh. It's like this, right? It's one of the simple ones. Nope, this is wrong. I can tell because the music is still here. I turned around. It was Officer Minjun. Thank God you're here, sir. Minjun seemed shocked after I told him about what I had just heard outside. He said the lieutenant might still be at his own place. It wasn't too far from here and we should hurry over and see if we could catch him in time. With Minjun leading the way, we were running as fast as we could toward Lieutenant King's home. Then we came across a small dark alley without any lights. Minjun seemed to be out of breath and he slowed down. Okay, I need a breath. I also need a breath. More water. When the music doesn't change, I can tell I fucked up. He pointed at the 2-story apartment building not too far in front of us and told me that it was the lieutenant's building. I decided to keep going ahead, but before I could run more than a few steps, I suddenly felt a sharp pain on the back of my head. I felt dizzy and lost my balance. I couldn't even see the road anymore. I fell to the ground and blacked out. Minjun, you traitorous bitch. When I woke up, it was almost daylight. Oh, never mind. Sorry, Minjun. Yeah, sorry I doubted you for like that split second. Neither of us seemed to have our wallets. Oh man, how could this happen? Was Lieutenant King already? Okay, let's see what happens to my girl. Someone unusually tall had just walked out of the elevator wearing an even more unusual ensemble. A woman, right? A pair of tight black leather pants, a lavish fur coat. Oh, never mind. I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. I walked past this person into the elevator and pressed the button for the first floor. The person kept walking into the lobby. Okay, so not good enough. Maybe not this, right? I checked the time again. It was already 9:30 p.m. It wasn't safe to go straight to the port as I didn't know how many people the enemy had. I hadn't received my weapon yet as this was only my first week. It wouldn't be terribly useful for me personally. Oh no, hold on. Cool, anyways. I hadn't received my weapon yet as this was only my first week. It wouldn't be terribly blah blah blah, okay. I should at least go back to the station and check out a gun. Perhaps I could even find some backup. I hoped I could make it in time. I left the bar. A cold breeze blew over my face. I shuddered and felt myself sobering up a little more. I hailed a cab. I kept urging the driver to speed up. In the end, it took me 30 minutes to arrive rather than the usual 60. Oh. As soon as I opened the door, I threw up all over the ground. Okay. The driver looked at me emotionlessly and handed me the bill and a napkin. I just ran through 3 red lights for you. I'll give you a discount for being a police officer. Mister, something that you should know. One of the men who had been sitting below the stage earlier tapped on my shoulder. Oh no. Blah 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 blah. Okay, fucking loser creep. Okay. Hey, that was embarrassing. Someone who had just got out of the elevator stood in front of me. A pair of high heels, a pair of tight black leather pants, a lavish fur coat. If it weren't for the voice, no one would have guessed that it was a man wearing them if they saw them from behind. Nice. Police discount. Yeah, interesting. For the manager of Melody Hall to dare do something like this in public, what would your big boss say if you heard about this? Fine, just not my lucky day then. The manager shot me a stern look, turned around, and walked back into the lobby. The cross-dressing man turned to me, smiling wildly. Hello, pretty little girl. Would you like to go get... Okay, thank you for that, but, like, don't say pretty little girl. Okay, I guess that's the right answer. To be honest, I'm, like... Whatever is happening here is going straight through my brain. I don't know what's happening. But let's... Oh. Cough, cough. You ask me how deeply I love you. What on earth are you doing? I'm singing. Huh? I didn't know you sang. What is the name of the song? The moon represents my heart. How does she still know this song? I thought I had... Excuse you? What do you mean you had? What did you... Oh, whoops. Yeah, that's a creepy... It's a creepy way to say it. Oh my god, there was one time when I first started working, like my first job, and like the pharmacist I was working with, he was showing me something, and like I guess I did it correctly, and then he said good girl, and I didn't like that. Like, he's nice and he's not really creepy, but like he kind of gives off like a old man saying things to younger girls that he shouldn't be doing. Like, it's not like he seems like a predator. It's just that he has that, like conservative vibe. Yeah, he's fine, but, like, sometimes I got that, like, energy from him. I mean, of course, the song, everyone in China knows the song. Why are you suddenly in the mood to sing? When I read Alicia's story about her singing, all of a sudden, a lot of music just popped into my head out of nowhere. I'm in pharmacy school, so I started off as an assistant and now I'm an intern and I just have like more work. But like, good to know that I have a comrade in arms for our experience. So I was thinking, maybe I was a singer before I died, before you died. I've heard stories of how some people become gods when they die with unfulfilled wishes. That must be why I know these songs, right? Aren't those usually ghost stories, not god stories? Although if that had been the case, wouldn't my power have something to do with singing? What do you mean? For example, what if my singing has healing powers? Or maybe my song can bring peace to people at war. We have been alive for a long time. There's nothing strange about us knowing some songs. Gods are supposed to know everything. I don't think this girl knows anything. She woke up with no memories and it seems like the dog is responsible. If you weren't for your memory loss, I'm sure you would remember even more. Well, that makes sense. I guess I was never a singer, now I feel sad. I didn't know you wanted to be a singer so much. Look, I made you some osmanthus cake. Wow! Nothing's more powerful than sweets. Enjoy the cake. Remember to do your work after you finish your snack. I'll see you later. Wait, I haven't heard you sing yet. Before you go, sing me something, haha. I will not. You are my servant. You cannot say no to my request. No, no, no. As your servant, my duty is to supervise your work, and saying no to you is one of my rights. Well then, what if I serve you some tea? I made the tea. How about I wash your feet? I just washed them myself. Well, would you like me to comb your hair? What would you like to hear? Name his face. Your face looks almost twisted. Well, let me think. Oh, I have a choice here? Does this matter? Can I save? No? Okay, okay. We're cooked, I guess. I hope this isn't important. What was she singing? I think she was singing this earlier. These are all songs by Teresa Tang. Why couldn't you pick something more exciting, more hardcore? To be fair, you've liked her music ever since you were little. Since I was little? Oh no, I mean, you have always liked her music. Okay, hint. Anyway, I happen to know this one. Listen up, I'm going to sing now. You ask me how deep my love is for you, I love you to the utmost, blah 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 blah, ew. Just look up and think, just look up and see, the moon represents my heart. What do you think? I've been curious, why is it that the only sound you make when you talk is a single beep? Even the tone is always the same. Excuse me? Even when you were singing, it was nothing more than some rhythmic beeping. Girl? You are only now noticing that? While we are gods after all, not humans, we have our own unique qualities, we should focus on them. Speaking of which, how's work been recently? What's happening? Oh, it's been going pretty well. My only complaint is that there are so many letters. I've been pulling a lot of all-nighters to finish them. You don't have to work that hard. We're not on the same timeline as the humans. It doesn't really matter to them when we handle their letters. The most important thing about being a god is to enjoy yourself. That's okay, I am enjoying myself. It feels so great to be able to help people. I am really happy. Okay then, as long as you're happy. Oh, by the way, haven't we forgotten about something important? What important thing? Comb. Ah, there. Wait, what? Our new letters here need to start working. I knew it. Did he say comb? Oh, the brush. She said that she would brush it. Sorry, doggy. Or, I guess his name is Will. Dude, this girl is reading the most tragic freaking letters ever. And then, like, afterwards, she's like, wow, that was interesting. Can I have some cake? Can I have some tea? Like, okay. Cool. Jack. Where's Jimmy? I wanna see. Oh yeah, it is Jimmy. Okay. Jimmy's a little fucking creep, but like he's also like not very dangerous. VR rules. He's just a little how do I describe it? Hey, I just noticed that there's a cat on the letter. Yeah. This is the first time I've ever seen something like this. Oh, this must be a doodle that Jimmy sketched in the letter. If the doodle is very obvious, it might show up in the letters you receive. What is that he drew? I think it's a cartoon cat called Sir Spotty. It was pretty famous in the world. We also have it in our dictionary. Well, I didn't know he was a painter too. That's impressive. Something like this barely qualifies him as a painter. Okay, Jimmy. Today was Sunday. I climbed out of bed a lot earlier than usual. I want to try my brand new VR game for Rocky Boca. What is this? Oh, it's like a... Okay. That's cool, I guess. I get the history of VR. Although Kickstarter, blah 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 blah. Oculus, which was bought earlier by Facebook in 2014. Is this true? This is like actually like factual. The deal successfully brought the concept of VR to the public. In any case, VR isn't really as young as many people think. 1960s. 1980s. Okay. Alright. That's cool. There are all kinds of games available now. FPS, dancing games, even X-rated ones. Okay, Jimmy. The VR gear was the big thing these days, and the good ones were also expensive. The one I got cost almost 10 grand. If I hadn't told my dad that I was buying this for research purposes... Wait, 10 grand? I kind of got the vibe from this kid too, but like, he's rich. For research purposes, which technically wasn't entirely untrue. There was no way he would have bought it for me. I put the gear on. It was more like a helmet really. It was quite heavy. However, wow, it did feel quite realistic. It was as if my body had entered the virtual world. I changed my position. Huh. That... Huh? Jimmy, what are you doing? Jimmy? Okay, he was wearing the smart glasses that I had bought a while ago and was looking right in my direction. Jimmy, what are you playing? My eyes widened in shock when I noticed the recording light blinking on the glasses. Rocky, what are you doing? The way you were playing looked too funny, so I decided to keep it for posterity. Record my ass, the automatic streaming option was on. Wait, what? Streaming? I hurried over to my computer, logged into the stream website, and checked my channel. Oh my gosh, everything had been broadcast. Jimmy, you fucking loser. There have been over 5 million viewers and it went straight to the top of the rankings. You're viral. The commenters had gone berserk. Everyone was screaming pervert. Jimmy! Pervert 10. You're playing something like that with your roommate right there? I was so screwed. Jimmy! So he was playing X-rated games. Okay, Jimmy. Let's move on. Okay, serious business now. Jimmy's the comedic joke of all of the characters. Everyone else is dealing with like the worst shit ever, and he's like, my crush, trying to play tennis, getting embarrassed online because playing an X-rated game my roommate filmed me. We're gonna go back to this whatever revenge plot. I don't know what's happening. As I had expected, it wasn't filled with asphalt. A person had been stuffed inside. It was a very muscular man. He was barely breathing. This morning at work, I had received an express delivery. There was nothing but a photo in the envelope with a time and location written on its back. The same barrel was in the center of the photo. It was at the exact same spot that I was looking at right now with my own eyes. Then I heard scurrying footsteps near the gate of the warehouse and the clinking sounds of guns. Okay. Warehouse 23 belonged to the Musan gang. It could not have been more obvious that this was a trap set up for me by Choi Yo-han. Yet I had to come. 20 minutes later, the muscular man and I were tied together, sitting on the ground with our backs against each other. The two guards who were in charge of watching us had been waiting for their replacement, but they were so sleepy that they could barely keep their eyes open. It was pretty late after all. Anyone who had to watch two middle-aged men like us would get sleepy. I quietly cut the rope with the razor blade glued to my sleeve while the guards were dozing off. Then I grabbed the Glock 43, okay, gun lore, semi-automatic pistol, blah 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 blah. Cool, I guess. Okay, accuracy, stability, and compactness has made it one of the favorites of undercover detectives and private security officers. Nice. Oh, no, that's okay. I don't know actually. Since the last letter, I still have no idea what's happening. I think they're trying to trick this guy. But he had a gun. He came prepared. I don't know what's happening with this guy's plot. After years of police work around here, I knew every single warehouse at this port like the back of my hand. So right now he's kidnapped? I don't know. He walked here. Okay, actually I don't know. We'll find out. All the warehouses from number 15 to number 25 were large-sized ones. They were usually filled with lots of huge cargo containers. If there were some reinforcements outside to distract them, I should be able to defend myself inside, even with only 6 bullets. They were not the only ones waiting for their prey tonight. This was all part of my plan. There was a shoddy clock on the wall of the warehouse. It made a ticking noise every time a hand moved. The hour hand was almost on 12, and the minute hand was 10 minutes away from it. Is that important for me to remember? I gave the muscular man a signal in his palm behind my back and waited patiently. I handed the gun to him. Lots of noises were coming from outside of the warehouse. It sounded like a lot of people in cars. At the same moment, the minute hand also hit 12. We both stood up and ran towards the back of the warehouse. However, I didn't expect the muscular man to suddenly trip and fall after only a few steps. His legs were presumably numb and stiff after being cramped up for so long. Oh no. The two guards are wide awake now. Oh no. Okay. No! Muscular man! Fuck you all, you monsters, bastards, motherfuckers. Okay. I turned around and raised my gun. In the chaos, a bullet hit my thigh. Suddenly, all the other bullets still flying in the air seemed to be moving in slow motion. They were so slow that I could even see the rotation and the vapor trails after them. Sounds dramatic. I realized that he had woken up. When I woke up... Wait, what? When I woke up, I was lying in a cheap motel somewhere. Oh. I had changed into some clean clothes. There was a half-eaten sandwich and a glass of orange juice on the nightstand next to my bed. I opened my left fist. As expected, there was a note with a message that looked like it had been written by a child. These new clothes cost $50,000. Okay, they're in blue. I actually don't remember what the blue text means, but maybe that's important. I survived, but Cho Johan had got what he wanted to again. I lost another important person in my life again. Excuse me? I don't know what happened. I did not understand any of that. There's also no red text. Oh, wait, there it is. Wait, what? Okay. I don't know. Oh my god, Jimmy. Jimmy! What? How do I even combine these? Okay, listen. I don't know what to do about this, to be honest. I just want to like throw it away. Please. So, I don't know what to do about Jimmy, so let's look at this one. The muscular man tripped because his legs were stiff. Oh, I think I haven't. What if... No. The gun, though? I don't fucking know. I don't know. Wait, this is such... They're so different that I don't know what to... Why? There's an emoticon in this one. Okay, I'm just gonna see what happens if I put it here. Like, what's gonna happen? That's you. Okay, he still trips and falls even though they're distracted. Okay. I see. What's up with Jimmy? Okay, this game was so nauseating. I made the right decision to have my partner carry the gun. I was so wise. But the game felt super boring if you weren't actually shooting something. I took the 10 grand helmet off and threw it back into the drawer. Rocky was still snoring in his bed. He had probably stayed up last night again for a soccer game. Never mind him. I was going to head out and roam the streets now. I put on the smart glasses that I bought a while ago and snuck out of the school into the real three-dimensional world. Oh, okay, so Jimmy touches grass is the good ending. But this is a bad ending, so something's wrong here. Hold on. Is there other ones? Oh yeah, there's Alicia. I might have to check Alicia's before I can fix that. Maybe. Because, like... Or maybe I move this one here. I feel like we can just keep that there for now. Blah blah blah. Okay. Okay, there we go. Just in case our legs were too stiff to run, the muscular man and I quietly shifted around a bit to loosen up our legs. Lots of noises were coming from outside of the warehouse. It sounded like a lot of people in cars, blah blah blah. Okay, by the time the two guys noticed we were gone, they were already taking cover behind the cargo containers. Any time now, just a little longer. A guard with a gun was walking towards the back of the warehouse and the other one was behind him. I needed to stall a little longer. I couldn't let them come any closer. I stared at their stretched shadows on the ground. I had the barrel of my gun peeking out from behind the containers. Hold on. Nice shot. Seeing their partner hurt and screaming in pain, the other guards stopped moving towards us out of fear. Then the garage gate slowly opened. They were here. Right on time. Who's here? What's here? I have no idea what's happening with him. But yeah, I guess as long as we can stop Jimmy from getting embarrassed in front of 5 million people. There was a quiet street in Hong Kong. There was a quieter alley on that quiet street. At the end of the alley, there was a coffee shop with a sign in the shape of a maple leaf. Inside the shop sat its owner, who had a peculiar taste in clothes, at least in the opinion of many. I still vividly remember the first time I had met him. He was wearing a pair of red high heels, a pair of skin-tight black leather pants, and a lavish fluffy fur coat. He had always told us to call him Mama. Oh, okay. He still identified as a man, but preferred dressing as a woman. We all make our choices, and he understood more than most that being different need not lead to loneliness. Mama had saved my life. Not only had he saved me when I was being harassed by a pervert, he even let me work in his coffee shop. He paid me 3,000 Hong Kong dollars a month. It wasn't much in Hong Kong, but I got to live in the coffee shop so that I could save up most of my salary and send it back to my brother back in Mexico. That's really nice. I hoped it could help pay for school. There were a few other misfits like me who Mama had taken under his wing. Hang, who could never tell ketchup apart from jalapeno sauce. Raja, who couldn't help singing whenever he picked up a goblet. Jack, who would always wipe the table twice. We all had different colored skin. We didn't speak each other's languages, but we had all been learning from each other as well. We would often talk to each other in English, Cantonese, Mandarin, and Spanish all at once. Miraculously, we usually managed to understand each other pretty well. We always had a great time together. We shared the same bedroom with 2 bunk beds. Jack slept in my top bunk, and Hang and Raja slept in the other one. Jack was only 15. No, baby. He had curly blonde hair and a pair of clear blue eyes. Carlos was a few years younger than him. No, when we had been in the orphanage, he and I slept in a bunk bed like this too. Oh wait, that's Carlos. Hold on. That was why I liked to stare at the top bunk before I fell asleep, and imagine that it was a 15-year-old Carlos sleeping up there. Okay, hold on. Bunk beds peak. Yeah. They have them in Link Lake. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. Okay, I'm back. My throat's doing that thing where it's like, if I talk too much, it like builds up mucus or something, and I need to like cough it out. However, the peaceful days did not last too long. Only Jack and I were in the shop that day. He had just taken the trash out the back door. Moments later, I heard the muffled sound of fighting and yelling in the back. I ran out of the back door and saw a couple of tall, strong men pinning Jack to the ground, tying his hands and feet. Excuse me? No! I wanted to run back upstairs to find Raja. I knew he was sleeping in the bedroom. Before I could, someone had caught me from behind, and my face was covered with a foul-smelling piece of wet cloth. When I woke up, it was already deep into the night. Jack and I were locked inside what seemed to be a small warehouse. Oh. What time is it? Oh, hold on. Okay, I was wondering what that was. Oh, he's still barking. It's too early for my dad to be home. I think my uncle just left the house. My dog always barks when the garage opens, so I'll just let him do his thing out in the rest of the house. I was keeping him trapped with me, but I'll leave the door open this time. Yeah, he's gotta check to make sure no intruders coming in every time the garage opens. Oh, he's whining now. Oh well. We both looked out of the window and we could see the blinking neon lights out of a busy melody hall. Okay. It is getting hotter here. It is gonna be like 85 degrees today. And that's like too much for me. If I remembered correctly, there was an auction house opposite Melody Hall. Mom used to tell us that the auction house on the street was not really legitimate. Legendary paintings that had gone missing. Rare ore that had been illegally smuggled in. The what? The what? Ancient mummies of an undetermined age. Panda, no! They have a dictionary entry for pandas. Okay. There are fewer than 2,000 giant pandas living in the wild. Really? Is that true? It's probably less now, depending on when this game came out. Gifting or leasing pandas to a foreign country has become a unique diplomatic operation for China. What? Okay. What? Okay. Even. Okay. Yeah, okay. As long as there was a buyer, there was nothing they wouldn't sell. Okay, we couldn't stay here. I had been through this once. This time I felt calm. I had to get myself out of here, and I would take Jack with me too. This girl cannot catch a break. There was only one guard in the hallway. I slammed on the door to get him to come over. I told him that Jack had stopped breathing. He didn't think too much of it, perhaps because he thought we were just a couple of kids. So he opened the door and crouched down next to Jack, who was playing dead. When he reached out to feel Jack's breath, I pulled the gun out of his waistband and pushed it against the back of his head. Good job, girl. Then we gagged his mouth, tied his hands and feet behind him, and locked him inside the room before we snuck downstairs. We didn't run into anybody on our way down to the reception desk. Just when I was about to celebrate our good fortune, someone yelled at us from behind. I turned around and saw a sleepy man who was holding a mug. He rubbed his eyes and slammed the mug onto the reception desk when he saw our faces. The alarm went off, I grabbed Jack's hand, and we started running towards the port as fast as we could. 4, maybe 5 guys came after us from the auction house. There were lots of warehouses and small rows near the port that made up a complex maze. We had to play cat and mouse with our chases before we could find a secure hiding place. At the southwest corner of the port, there was a recycling center. The center had a fenced-in lot that had piles of garbage in it. Only a couple of overtime workers were operating the crane. They would lift a dumpster high up and then dump everything into the lot. There are many extra large dumpsters outside the lot. Is this important for me to know? Because I am not retaining this information. Jack and I had split up earlier, and I waved at Jack from a distance to come over. The dumpster was empty. Stop hiding, we saw you. I'm over here. I tried to draw attention to myself. They opened the cover of the dumpster. I walked out from the cargo container not too far behind them. I tried to distract them. However, they had already opened the dumpster cover and seen no! Yeah, we'll just, guess when we get to the mixing and matching part of the game. They didn't tie us up to avoid attracting too much attention. Instead, they surrounded us and marched us toward the... No! If we didn't follow their orders, the guns in their waistbands would make us regret it. I fell into a deep despair. Jack must have been so frightened, too. I looked at him. For a moment, I thought I must have been mistaken. I thought I had just caught him smiling? Huh? We were close enough to see the auction house when one of the guards' phones rang. Everyone was... Oh. The garage is opening again. Is someone home or is someone leaving? Or maybe he forgot to close the garage. I'm gonna check. I'll be right back. I mean, hi, I'm back. So I think my uncle just like closed the garage and he left because there's no one here. So I took the chance to pee and I got water and I got pudding that I made. It's very it's very hot. It's getting hotter. So I'm gonna enjoy my pudding and cold water while I'm playing this. Hello, I hope your interview went well. You missed the yaoi ending for one of the letters earlier. I will show you later because I need to make sure you see it. Anyways, everyone was temporarily distracted by the phone, including me. But a gunshot interrupted the ringing. A guard had already fallen down. A bullet had just gone through his head. Oh, okay. Jack? Jack had just dropped him with a smile on his face. Yeah, okay. I am manifesting that you get the job. All you can do is hope that everything went well. He had somehow taken a gun from one of the guards. Good for you, Jack. He then turned around and shot the second guard right in his chest. Oh, okay. He didn't waste any of the bullets. It was almost like magic. Soon all 5 guards were lying on the ground. Jack looked at me with a casual expression on his face. Alicia, let's get out of here. I was still in shock at what had just happened, and before I could say okay, I heard another gunshot from farther away, and then a splashing sound nearby. Dude, I can't catch a break. Aside from Jimmy, everything is so tragic. Jack dropped to his knees and then slowly collapsed. Bright red liquid was oozing out from a small hole in the middle of his forehead. The young man with the mug was standing behind us at a distance. Only this time, he was carrying a gun instead of a mug. He started walking slowly towards us. I held my hands to my head and dropped to the ground sobbing. Heavenly Father, why on earth would you let this happen to us? What have we done wrong? Oh, I'm sorry. I will try my best. I don't think there's anything I can do yet, though, because there's nothing matching with her yet. So I have to check the other letters. I need a gun. I see. 5 past 12. Okay, wait, let me show you. Hold on. Yeah, I don't think she... Maybe I don't have to... I'll try it. Which one was it, though? It was this one, right? Yeah. This is very important to me, so you're gonna have to see it regardless of whether you want to. Look, they made an ending, a Z ending. So when I was trying to get the S ending, there's this whole ass yaoi side ending and I was not prepared for it. Something. There's tension. They were taking a bath in the spa room in the building or whatever, and then. Apparently he's gay, I guess. Let me take you to a great place. After the station, took me to a bar, and then the relationship between Lieutenant King and I turned into something completely unexpected. And honestly, I'm really disappointed that they couldn't have just made that the true ending for this part. And then there's also I won't show it all, but oh no, that's a dictionary. They even made a CG for it if you want to take a look right there. Only a peek though. Okay, anyways, that was my little public service announcement. Wait, hold on. No. Alicia. Oh, so I think I have to put it in a different order instead of swapping. Okay. I don't know. There are many large extra dumpsters outside the lot. Jack and I had split up earlier and I waved at Jack from a distance to come over. What if it's she says, I'm over here. Well, this has to go after they open the cover of the dumpster and the dumpster's empty, right? Okay, let's try this one. However, they had already opened the dumpster cover. There's no one inside. You fool, go get the girl. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay, wait, on the way I saw a shadow from the corner. Oh my god. I don't know if you can hear him, but I need to make my dog shut up. 1 second. I don't know. He's just upset about something. I'll let him bark. Okay. A huge dumpster had been lifted up and emptied onto the lot of the recycling center. I also noticed a small body roll out together with the garbage. None of the guards were aware of it. They never realized the person that they had been looking for was right under their noses. Jack had always reminded me of my brother. I would often change my shift to the same ones as him. Unlike Carlos, Jack never talked too much. However, I would still try to chat with him. After a while, we started to talk more and more. Okay, wait, I feel like I didn't let me start over. Change my shift. Unlike Carlos, he never talked too much. After a while, we started to talk more and more with each other, although he had rarely mentioned anything about himself. Once I accidentally saw a horrifying burn scar on his back when he was changing. He must have a story that he didn't want to think about. Another time, I had asked him what he would like to become when he was older. He pondered for a while and said, a policeman or maybe a doctor. Look on his face was almost like he had been looking at an ocean of blossoming flowers. And he had been enchanted by the hypnotizing scent of the flowers. The warm summer breeze was kissing his exquisite blonde hair, and the glowing sunlight was shining inside his sky blue eyes. He almost looked like an angel to me at that moment. I'm out of breath. I knew he was not just saying that. He had a lot of books. When he wasn't working, he would always be reading in the bedroom. Even when he was on a shift, he would sit behind the bar and read when there were not too many customers. He spent all of his earnings on books. Although I didn't think one could be a policeman or a doctor through only self-learning, still I believed that Jack, my little angel, would be able to do it. Because I believed that if he did his best, his dream would come true. Aww. So are they both okay? I didn't really process that. I think it seems like she got captured, but Jack got to run away. But it says rank S, so... Oh, I didn't read Alicia's profile. She's pretty! Oh my god. Girl had a hard life. What is this? 18 kidnapped and taken onto a human trafficking ship. At 18, started working in Hong Kong at a coffee shop named Maple House. And then at 19, kidnapped at Maple House and sold off in an underground auction house. No. Anything new about this? Nope, but he joined a gang since the last time. Oh, the poor child. This guy. Haven't seen her in a while. This guy. And this guy, okay. Okay. It was 10 p.m. There weren't many people in the station. I ran down to the basement, pushed open the door to the armory, and yelled, "Excuse me, I need to check out a handgun." I had been assigned to this position for quite a few days, but I still hadn't received a firearm. I had heard that the office was very bureaucratic and inefficient. I suppose people have been telling me the truth. The custodian in charge of the armory slowly turned his face toward me. It looked like he hadn't shaved his wrinkled face for a long time. All of his facial hair was wet with tears and snot. I noticed the TV behind him. He was watching a very popular TV drama, The Descendants. I had to speak at the top of my lungs to tell him that I needed a gun, trying not to be drowned out by the hysterically bawling heroine on the TV. Although he was still quite invested in the show, the old man still hadn't forgotten his duty. He then explained the rules while holding back his tears. To check out up to and including 2 guns, please fill out the green B2 form and have it signed by the lieutenant of your unit. While the lieutenant's not available, the firearms will be available immediately. To check out more than 2 guns, please fill out the pink C15 form and have it signed by the captain of the station. Okay. The weapons will be available in 5 hours. Okay. Whoops, what did that say? I tore the pink C15 form into pieces. Sir, you've got to be kidding me. 5 hours? It's really a matter of life and death. I just need a tiny, tiny, tiny handgun. I signed my fist onto the desk out of frustration. Don't slam the desk. The custodian pulled 2 napkins out of a box, then blew his nose and wiped his tears away. He turned around and refocused on the TV screen with the box of napkins still in his hand. The heroine had just been diagnosed with a terminal illness. It was the hero's turn to bawl hysterically. I squeezed the torn pieces of paper in my palm and tossed them into the trash bin by the door as I stormed out of the armory. I let out a sigh. Fine, it should be okay if I just go ahead without a gun, right? That doesn't sound like a good idea. I rushed out of the building, hailed a cab, and headed towards the port. Buddha would surely bless me. Sorry, I will not. But let's go to the next letter. It was 5 past midnight, Warehouse 23, Port of Busan. I realized I had been backed into a corner, because the people who had come in from the gate were not Lieutenant Kim Jong-ho and his men from Unit 3. Lieutenant Kang, long time no see. It was my old rival, the leader of the gangman group of the Musan gang, Choi Gohan. The drug cases around this area had always been handled by Unit 1 and my Unit 4. Drug smuggling was one of the main sources of income for the Musan gang, so Choi and I had handled plenty of deals with each other. Long time no see. I did see your son a week ago. He looked pretty good. By the way, I heard that you have been in a bad mood recently. Would you like me to get you some antidepressants? Haha, that won't be necessary, but you were right. I haven't been doing too well. That's why I bought myself some new toys to cheer myself up. I want you to share the fun with me, Lieutenant King. Oh. An M134. Okay. He was my son, my lovely son, and you fucking blew up half of his head. Today I'll blow your entire fucking body into smithereens. I crashed on the ground and covered my head with my hands. My Lock 43 had run out of ammo earlier. This couldn't get any worse. There was a toy gun on the ground. Where did the toy gun come from? A toy gun against an M134? Haha, I couldn't help but chuckle at the ridiculous thought. Apparently someone else had come up with the same idea. The muscular man picked up the toy gun and came out from behind the containers. I didn't have a chance to stop him. Everything happened so fast. The toy gun couldn't possibly take on the M134. I saw numerous bullets fly into his body. No! The ground behind him was quickly covered in a bloody red mess. No! How did it end up like this? What do you want me to do about it? Okay, I don't remember what the numbers were for. I can't change this. These don't seem like they should fit together. Hold on, I'm gonna make sure my dog doesn't pee in the house. I think he's restless. So I will BRB. Is it showing up? There you go. BRB in like a minute or so. Okay, let's figure this out. There's only 3 options, so surely I don't really know. No? No? I forgot the rules that dog told me. Oh wait, maybe I just swap this one. Oh, it goes here. No toy gun. The machine gun slowly stopped and I heard lots of people yelling outside. I peeked out to take a look. Some men from the gaming group were holding down a pretty buff young man, pressing his head to the ground. His head was already covered with blood. Choi Yohan grabbed his hair and pulled it back violently. I finally saw his face. Yo, if I remember correctly, isn't this the new guy in your unit, Lieutenant King? Would you look at that? What a cute and silly one he is. He came all the way here to save his precious lieutenant without even bringing a gun. Who do you think is cuter, him or my son? Lieutenant King? Fuck you. The kid's nose and mouth were bleeding heavily, and he kept mumbling through the blood. Lieutenant, don't mind me. Oh. Dang. Have it signed by the lieutenant of your unit. I looked down the green B2 form in my hands and I had an idea. I clutched the form in my hand and ran back to Unit 4, stopping at the lieutenant's desk. I put my hand on the handle of the drawer and my heart was beating rapidly in my chest. This would be a huge mistake, forging the signature. In all seriousness, this would be a crime. What the hell is wrong with me? Calm down, think. There must be another way. Speaking of which, I remembered seeing a toy gun on the custodian's desk earlier. Could that be useful? Something was definitely wrong with me. I let out a sigh. Fine. It should be okay if I just go ahead without a gun, right? I rushed out of the building, held the cabin head for support. But it would surely bust me. Nope. So I guess the toy gun does not go to this guy. I can't move these here though. Wait. I put it here last time, right? Couldn't I put it here? Or no? Is that stupid? Maybe? Oh. And he was covering his abdomen with his right hand. Fuck, there are other people here, you morons. Find them! Soon I heard the sound of people fighting. Yet Choi Yohan held onto the machine gun again and pointed it right in my direction. He kept staring in our direction like a hawk. He was not going to let us get out of here alive today. About 20 minutes later, some men from the gaming group are holding down a pretty buff young man, blah blah blah, he dies. Okay. So now he only has a toy gun. Okay. What if I flip these two? Maybe. Oh, I think this is correct. I felt blood rushing to my head and picked up the gun. Then I turned back to the armory and slammed it on the desk. Thud. I dropped into the ground on my knees. Sir, I have to tell you something. Becoming a police officer has always been my dream ever since I was a kid. I've always thought that one day when I finally became a police officer, I would be able to defend justice and help people who were in need. Even though Lieutenant King has lousy temper, loves smoking, and is often mean to me, always has me doing paperwork, and likes junk food. But as a police officer, as a defender of justice, I just can't let him be in danger without doing anything. And sir, if you don't loan me a gun now, it will all be too late. The custodian turned his face back again, looking at the top half of my head behind the desk. While tears were welling up in my eyes, it was nothing compared to the river coming down his face. Silence. I stood back up and dusted off my pants. Well, I tried. Wait. If you hear me pausing, it's because I'm taking a bite of my pudding. The custodian wiped his face clean and put on his jacket. I can't break the rules and loan you a gun. However, I'll come with you. Oh, okay. Oh, by the way, bring this along too. The custodian stepped a toy gun into my hand. A toy gun? Are you kidding me right now? However, the old man seemed dead serious, so I tucked the gun into my waistband. It's butterscotch pudding that I made because my mom requested it. Now I just need to take more bites. Anyways, what's happening? As a rookie co-op, all I had right now was a toy gun and the custodian of the checkout counter of the armory. I was beginning to feel uncertain about this rescue mission. Okay. I heard lots of people yelling outside. I peeked out and saw that Choi Johan was lying on the ground unconscious. His lackeys were completely frantic and running around hysterically. I didn't know what exactly had just happened, but it was my only opportunity. I charged into the crowd and took a gun from one of the mobsters. However, even with a weapon, I was still outnumbered. Just when I was about to be stunned, I saw a shadow running behind those bastards. At first, I thought it was just my imagination, but then the bastards suddenly began falling to the ground one after another, and a familiar yet annoying figure jumped onto a huge cargo container. With his left hand behind his waist and his right hand waving some kind of strange white cloth. Wait, left hand behind his waist and right hand with a cloth? He sounded to the entire warehouse. Listen up, you evil bastards. Today is a day that you're going to see justice being served by me. I'm going to arrest every single one of you and bring you out to the police station. I don't know how smart of a move that is, but, you know, I'll let him be, I guess. I was 100% sure now. The only person who could say something like this without any irony was him. Who knew the kid had some talent despite always seeming a little off? Thanks to him, half an hour later, the only people still standing were all from our side. I tossed another empty gun on the ground. One of those bastards was lying near my feet, and I saw half a pack of cheap cigarettes. I wasn't feeling picky at the moment, so I lit one for myself. It seemed to help with the exhaustion a little bit. What a night. I would need a beer when I got back before I went to sleep. I sat down on the bottom of a random Wait, what? I sat down on the bottom of a random body nearby. Okay, a little morbid. I felt like I never wanted to get back up again. And then I looked at Chang Gong-min. He'd been jumping upside down for half an hour doing his weird karate, but he didn't seem tired at all. Young people. You're operating without authorization, you know that, right? Yes, sir, this is me defending my justice. Yes, sir, my ass, look at that grin of yours. And what was the deal with your voice? It was so loud that it hurt my skull. Well, whatever. I shipped them. I think it could work. Oh wow, I saw all the endings for that one. Alright, more letters. Oh, that's a lot of letters. What did I do wrong? Oh, back to my girl.
Dios, ¿qué debería hacer?
Pretty girl. No, the child! I'm shaking hands. Dude. There's only been like, what, 2 letters from this kid? And it's like the most well, this is the second letter, but it's so tragic. Okay, pudding. What time is it? I have time. I'm probably gonna like take a break when before my parents come home, and then maybe stream again at night, because I have like the evening shift tomorrow, so I could stay up a little bit. Okay. Oh man, I need a cough. Hold on. I think I've been talking too much the last couple days. My voice is not used to it. Yeah, I will stream again at night. I might like doodle a bit because like I changed my profile picture. I didn't realize it was an old one, so I wanted to redraw it, and right now it's just a sketch. So I was gonna like do a little quick coloring and then maybe continue the game again. Staying up late to sleep to the stream. I normally wouldn't like what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, what fell to the ground? Encourage you staying up so late. But I mean, you know, if you want to hang out and watch my stream, then that's fine. I'm like I can't like, I guess I can, but like I always try to sleep by like midnight for me usually. If I stay up later than that, then like I feel like I wasted the morning the next day, because then I wake up much later. But that's just a preference. Mr. Wen hadn't mentioned anything about canceling the class, however. Besides, I was still his assistant to the art class, so I went along. However, the room was empty. There was no one there, not even Mr. Wen. I felt a little disappointed, just when I was wondering whether I should go back and study for the exam. Sit down. Time for class. Mr. Wen walked past me, took off his coat, and laid it on the back of a chair near me. Why are you the only one here? It's the simulation exams tomorrow. Everyone is freaking out about them. My pudding is getting warm already. It's so hot. Mr. Wen seemed a little unhappy. Yeah, I mean, he tried to kill himself, so... Was he going to cancel the class today? I suppose that I should get ready to go back and study too. What would you like to draw today? Mr. Wen abruptly asked. What would I like to draw? It surprised me that I was hearing this question coming out of his mouth. Something more difficult? I said, hoping that it would make me appear more motivated. Then draw me. Dude, I don't like him at all. I don't have a good vibe from him. But you would have to pose for a long time. That is too much for me to ask. I honestly didn't want to do that. If I messed it up, when I messed it up, he was going to tear me, not the drawing, into pieces. Don't overthink it. Mr. Wen took out his kit, set up the easel, and continued. I'll do a sketch too. I'll draw you. I do not have a good vibe. After making sure that my ears weren't lying to me, I sprung up from my chair. Wait. Well, let me go and change first. I sprinted out of the classroom. I was still sweaty and smelly from playing tennis earlier, and I was wearing a sports jacket that was one size too large because I ordered the wrong one. It would be so embarrassing to be drawn like this. Furthermore, the more I thought about it, the more I felt like this was some sort of a trap. If I drew him badly, no, not if, when, with his temper, he would almost certainly not let me off the hook easily. I opened the locker and picked out the dress that Jing had bought when it was on sale a while ago. You're gonna change into a dress just for this? She had bought 2 of them and given me one as a present. I had never tried it on before. My school uniform was still drying up at home after laundry day yesterday, so this would have to do for now. I put the dress on. It fit well size-wise. Maybe because it hadn't been washed, I felt a weird itching once I put it on. Mr. Wen showed no reaction to my new outfit, and so we began our sketching practice. Drawing a portrait was so hard, and my back being itchy kept distracting me. By the time the bell rang, I had barely drawn a rough draft. Mr. Wen put away a sketch, yet he didn't ask to see mine either. He was about to leave the classroom when he stopped at the door. He looked at me, opened his mouth. He looked like he was going to say something, but he didn't. Eventually, he left with a look of disappointment on his face. What the hell was wrong with him? What did I do to him this time? Listen, I don't like him. The vibes are wrong. Pretty girl, quotation marks? Okay. I brought Yi to the auction house. She was still burning up and barely conscious. I handed her to the boss there, a middle-aged, fat man named Lucky Zhao who had a mouthful of gold teeth. Usually when the gang mentioned taking care of someone without additional instructions, it meant to bring the girls to the auction house. No. Dude, your sister is like getting hunted by these guys and you are working with them. Like, no. I was only asked to do legwork. Well, he's here to find his sister, so I guess it's fine. As for the girls who had been taken care of, they had probably all been sold to people abroad. I had heard rumors that besides the legitimate auctions, the house conducted illegal ones in secret too. There are many kinds of outlandish merchandise in this building, and that included humans. Just as I was about to leave, I couldn't control my curiosity anymore. I asked the guy at the front desk, "Hey man, where do these pretty girls get sold to?" The guy put down the stainless steel mug in his hand. "The people brought here by the Black Dragon Gang? Well, those girls are usually sent to Southeast Asia." Southeast Asia? Why there? Are they sent to be housemaids? Are you stupid or something? Housemaids? Your gang always told us that those... Oh, excuse me, I had to burp. Human sticks. Excuse me? What does that mean? Huh? Huh? So I need to not speak so loudly into the microphone, but like, what? Okay. Oh, okay. I see. Okay. The fact that they, like, I guess there must be some, like, historical, like, record of it if they had, like, a whole ass, like, description for it in the dictionary. That's messed up. I'd rather die than live like that. As a Catholic, I had always been taught to do good deeds so that I could be absolved of my sins and go to heaven. After joining the gang, I had done many bad things, but I could never be involved in something so evil. No, I couldn't just let Yi suffer like this. Damn it, if only I hadn't brought her here. These people would never willingly let her go now. I had to get her out of here and then try to explain to Mr. Kwan. Hey, I just remembered. Mr. Kwan wanted me to tell the girl something. What for? She's on the 4th floor. Make it quick. This guy shouldn't be here. Newspaper. Okay, newspaper. That's basically what it described. As I was climbing the stairs, I thought that I heard people crying. Were those the girls that were going to be sold? A strange thought suddenly hit me. Could it be possible that Alicia had also been sold here, just like these unfortunate people? She almost was, bro. The thought had come out of nowhere, but I felt extremely unsettled. He had been locked in a room at the end of the 4th floor. The guard had stepped away for a moment. Her entire body had been burning up. I woke her up and helped her into my own clothes, shorts, and shoes. I kept reminding her to be careful while we snuck out of the building. Poor girl. With a fever like this, she would probably die on the way to Southeast Asia if I didn't help her. I thought she was ready to go when she turned around and hugged me. Did I forget something? Oh, right. I pulled the brimmed hat on my head off and put it on her almost bald head, which had been shaved in Mr. Kwan. It was a real shame that he had done that to her. She looked really pretty with long hair. He tried her best, got herself together, and left the room. Well, now was the difficult part. The auction house was quite big. Not only would it take a while to exit the building, even if she got out, the guards could easily catch up to her while she was still nearby. I had to get her more time to escape. I scoured the room. I couldn't find anything I could wear. Nothing but a long wig. I had never seen a wig before. I found it a little amusing. But there weren't any clothes. I couldn't just be naked, could I? Is this guy walking around without any clothes on because he gave it to the girl? I picked up her dress. The dress ripped in the back. I sat down with my back towards the door. I loosened the hair and let it down. I sat down with nothing but my boxer shorts on. I tried my best to keep calm. There was no other way. The dress ripped apart the moment I tried to put my legs in. Why did I even try? I knew it wouldn't fit. I should have kept it intact as a memento. What an idiot I was. I heard footsteps getting closer and closer to the door. I swallowed nervously. He tried to pretend to be a girl so that to rip. Oh, I saw the guard's shocked expression to the small window on the door. I heard him scream. Then I heard the alarms. He had not been able to leave the building yet, and she was soon brought back. No, I was thrown out into the street with nothing but my boxer shorts. Damn it. I couldn't just do nothing and let Lee be sent to living hell. Lord, please guide me. Okay, let's start. Good time to finish my pudding before it gets lukewarm. So maybe he puts the dress on. Do I want the dress to be ripped for Li Wen so that she doesn't wear it, or is that like a bad thing? Because I feel like I can't have this here. Hold on. Okay, I want, maybe you swap these. Yes. Let's try that. The dress was really tight. I looked down on the dress that was wrapped tightly around myself. I could still feel the warmth of Mia's body and smell a faint trace of her scent. That's kind of gross. I had never worn a girl's clothes except for my sister's. I felt my face starting to blush. Okay. I heard footsteps getting closer and closer to the door. I swallowed nervously. Was her hair this long? Oh no. Okay. I thought about it for a while and decided it was too embarrassing to change it to a dress just for a sketch. I might as well stick with the oversized jacket. I was still feeling a little warm from tennis earlier, so I kept dripping down my forehead. Aha, so the hair, I did need to move the hair. Okay. Oh, he tore up the sketch once again. Fucking weirdo, I don't like him. So I do have to move this. We'll do that. Oh, there's a CG for this? Oh yeah, because she's bald. Oh, that's right. So the hair was kind of useless. Okay. I finally felt relaxed. May the Lord bless you, Yi. But what happens to Carlos? I didn't need to worry about my own escape. Okay, so he's fine. When I was at the orphanage, I'd always been the fastest kid. We used to go up on the hill to hunt rabbits. The other kids take a whole day, but I only needed 3 hours. A Mexican rabbit. Okay. A little biology knowledge. Cute, okay. Oh my god. Okay. I ran out of the room and sprinted towards the stairway. The guard noticed me, but before he could make a sound, I had already jumped down an entire flight. Wow, I was able to go down to the first floor with just 3 jumps. I ran past the front desk so fast that the newspaper was blown out of the front desk guy's hands. By the time he realized what had just happened and who had that had been, I was already long gone from the auction house. Still, what should I tell Mr. Kwan? I wandered around the streets when I finally noticed people kept giving me strange looks. For real. Here's a fun fact about rabbits. Anyways. The contrast when, like, we get Jimmy and then one of the other characters, like, paired together, and I have to go between, like, him in his fucking stupid situation or whatever, and then somebody, like, dying in the other person's letter. I was still wearing his dress. Oh my gosh, that was so embarrassing. I lowered my head and walked quickly towards the less crowded part of the street, afraid of being seen. I mean, you looked good, bro. I will say that. I found myself in a strange alley that I'd never been before. At the end of the alley, there was a small coffee shop. Oh my god! He's so close! Wait, but she left, didn't she? No, he's so close! I was stunned. I seemed to remember that Alicia had mentioned a place like this in her first few letters. Yes, she used to work here. Since Alicia had never mentioned the address of the coffee shop, I had never been able to find it. Okay, here it was, right here. Finally, I was about to find my big sister Alicia. I ran up the stairs of the coffee shop filled with all the excitement in the world, but someone suddenly grabbed both my arms from behind. It was a policeman. I mean, you do look pretty suspicious wearing a woman's dress, running into a coffee shop that you're not supposed to be in. Okay. The golden, I don't like this. What's happening? The golden sunlight from the setting sun shone down upon Mr. One and me. It felt warm, but not too warm. Mr. One's sketch paper rustled lightly in the breeze, as did his hair. He looked so focused that I'd found myself staring at him without even realizing it. Mr. One looked up. Our eyes met. I don't like it. Girl, no! No! If you want to tear it up, go ahead. I lost count of how many times he had torn up my drawings. Besides, I was actually pretty bad at this. Mr. Wynn handed me the sketch. It wasn't mine, though it was his. Was that really me? I was speechless and I couldn't find a word in my vocabulary to describe it other than beautiful. I don't like this. I never could have imagined that a person who was always so cold and distant would be able to create something so warm and intimate. Suddenly, an idea came to me. I held the sketch up in his face and pointed at a random spot. There is a serious problem here, haha. Mr. One looked at the sketch puzzled. Before he could take a good look, I took the sketch back. I will not tolerate this kind of thing in my class. I imitated his tone, took a few steps back, then tore up the sketch and threw the pieces into the trash. Wow. What a historical moment. I finally turned the tables on him. I quickly ran out of the classroom. Thinking back on how many of my sketches he had shredded, I felt great about getting a good job. I mean, that was good, but like also, I don't like the vibes. The vibes are not approved by me. Okay. Let me finish me putting. I swear to God, if something happens to Lee Win, I am I'm okay, dude. Alright, there's 2 more letters, but let's look at what's happening with this guy. Oh, there's this one too. Oh, there you go. No, the child. Oh my god, my voice. Okay. My dad had a bad temper and he often hit my mom and me. One day I knocked him out with a bottle to help mom. I thought he would beat me up once he woke up, but I never expected that people from a mental hospital would show up at our door. These strangers were here to take me away. What? Mom was not at home. I could still hear the last word Dad ever said to me. Bastard. I was not ill, I was taken to the hospital because I was a bad child. However, everybody here would insist they were not ill. Besides, the male nurses here were all as strong as bears. They could lift me off the ground with a single hand. There was no way I could escape from here. What, because he killed his abusive father? Is that it? Why'd they take him away? Where's his mom? I was put in a very small room alone. There was a desk, a chair, and a simple bed. The sheets and blankets looked yellow and they were covered with stains. The walls were very dirty too, and someone had written a lot of bad words in the corners. No, I would try to talk with the female nurses just to get through the day. Soon I realized that as long as I kept saying nice things about them, they would tell me anything I wanted to know. I learned from them that the hospital is not too far away from my home. They said that the president of the hospital was a relative of someone important in the government. That was how the hospital had received a lot of government funding, but the president had pocketed most of it for himself. They also said that the president was rarely here. The person who was really in charge was the vice president, Dr. Lee Yun-suk. Dr. Lee was an expert in his field, and he always looked out for the employees. If it weren't for him, the hospital would have closed down a long time ago. It was a Tuesday. I had been here for 2 days, but I hadn't seen one doctor yet. If I could have Dr. Lee examine me, maybe he would know that I wasn't really ill and let me go home. Around dinner time, I was waiting for the tray to be put through the door when it opened. A tall, slim male nurse stood at the door and said he would take me to see the doctor. I had never seen him before. He probably worked in another building. Oh, what do you mean you had never seen him before? I don't like the vibes of that. I followed him downstairs, across the garden, and into another building. We walked up to the 5th floor and stopped at the door of an office. The name tag on the door that said Lee Yun-suk. Okay. I sat nervously on the medical stool. It was very dark inside and the lights were turned on. I could smell a faint scent in the room. It was only the two of us in the room. He asked a few simple questions first. To prove I was a good child, I answered all of the questions honestly. I also told him that Dad would beat Mom and me and why I thought I had been brought here. It was because Dad thought I was a bastard, a bad child. You are here because you have a condition called selective cognitive impairment. Are you gonna explain that to me? Selective cognitive impairment? I had never heard of it. I could barely say it. In other words, you have a tendency to fantasize about events. For instance, you said your father had choked your mother with a rope, but that never happened. That's not true. Dad must have lied to you. He beat me. He even poured boiling water on me. I can show you. I took off my shirt and turned my back towards him. I showed him the burn scars that went from my neck all the way to my back. That was what Dad had given me when he doused me with boiling water. Dr. Lee raised his hand and touched the scars with his fingertips. His hand was so cold that he took a deep breath. You are mistaken. It wasn't your father who did this to you. Your symptoms are quite severe. If you don't do something about it, it might very likely turn into schizophrenia. That's kind of sus. What's happening? Okay. Selective cognitive impairment? Hold on, I'm gonna look this up. Selective cognitive impairment. Okay, it opens up a bunch of like fancy looking, not really fancy looking, but complicated looking science articles. Specific difficulty in a particular aspect of reading or writing, such as non-word reading, exception word reading, or comprehension caused by damage to the left hemisphere of the brain. Okay, well, we're gonna ignore the actual definition because maybe this game isn't accurate. I don't know. Okay, moving on. I turned around and saw Dr. Lee untying his tie. Oh. Okay, whatever. That would be an even more condition. People with the condition have to be tied down to their beds. They can't go outside, not even to the bath. What the fuck is this? Every day they need to go through electroconvulsive therapy. In more serious cases, we might even perform brain surgery on them. Excuse me? No? What the hell? I felt my entire body getting warm. My knees were becoming weak. Dr. Lee held me so. Don't be afraid, kid. As long as I do everything I tell you, one day you will fully recover. Excuse me? Oh my god. Never mind. Wait, hold on. Let me just like, I don't want to show this. What the fuck? Okay, I'm not gonna show that. What the hell? I was sus of the the teacher this whole time, but this is what the scene that they were talking about in the reviews. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Oh my god. Let me just like skip through this. Okay. Yeah, honestly, it's a good time to leave. I might be ending it now soon since it's almost time for my parents to come home. But yeah, maybe see you later. Thanks for hanging out. Bye bye. Let me just like zoom through this so I don't have to look at this anymore. Oh my god. Oh my god, this this poor kid. His first letter is him getting abused by his dad. And the second letter is him getting sexually abused by this doctor. What the fuck? What? There's no red text. Wait, okay, let me read the last part because there was something about a gun. Okay, he found a gun, but then he missed. And then a nurse saw, but then fucking left. So nothing happened. What the fuck? Okay. I'll put the stream back on. Okay. Well, oh my god. I think I'll finish this letter and then I'll take a break. Oh my god. I honestly read pretty fucked up shit, but nothing involving kids like that. I don't like it. What the hell? Oh my god. Okay, anyways. Deep breaths. I'm gonna drink some water. I'm gonna go put my dishes away. I'll be right back. We'll take a little break. Yeah, like the contrast in this game is crazy. Anyways, a small break. I'll be back in like a minute. I want to get more water. Okay. One more letter and then I'll take a break from stream. Let's go back. Yes, thank you. What was I thinking about? Oh, when I was reading the reviews for this game, most of them were good, and I was reading like the negative reviews, right? And most of them were about like a rape scene with like a child and a minor. And so this whole time, I thought it was about Li Wen and the teacher guy, because honestly, the vibes are still not good regardless. I don't like what's happening there. But like so I wasn't prepared for it to happen to the little kid. So I'm still in shock. But we'll try to fix it. I kind of know a spoiler because somebody said something about how you're not supposed to shoot the guy. So unfortunately, we'll have to... I would personally prefer if we just shot the guy. But I don't think that's the right answer for this game, at least. According to the review I read. But let's keep going. Okay. The custodian who loved soap operas so much that he would bawl his eyes out had adverted Lieutenant King Strikers was just a toy gun. So it was a gun, but it was a toy gun? Oh, I was imagining like a fake gun. But I think it's one of those like BB guns or something. Even with a real gun, it would be incredibly hard to hit the temple of your target. If I had gone on the mission by myself, everything would have been over by now. That's for sure. I hadn't realized I couldn't shoot a gun until I rode in the police academy. Every time I tried to aim, I couldn't calm down and concentrate. No matter how hard I trained, I couldn't improve my shooting performance. The academy even sent me to a specialized psychologist, even though we didn't find anything wrong. Would a psychologist help with your aim? Unsurprisingly, I got a 0 in my final shooting test. I became the laughingstock of the class. If it weren't for my outstanding grades in the combat test, convincing the academy to make an exception for me, I would probably still be wasting bullets in training. Guns must simply not agree with me. There couldn't be any other explanation. Sounds like a skill issue. The custodian had gone back to the police station. All I needed to do was to wait for the reinforcements from the station to clean up the mess. By the way, even though I wasn't good with them, I could still appreciate guns. I still thought that it would feel great if I could have one with me all the time. I was playing with a gun that I just picked up off the ground. It must have belonged to one of these losers. one of these losers. When I was feeling a little drunk with the power in my hand, a stranger walked out of the shadows behind the cargo container. It was a huge, muscular man in his 40s or 50s. He was wounded. Both the tattoo on his bald head and the scars at the corner of his eyes were telling me that he would not be afraid of a fight. I held the gun steady and pointed at him when Lieutenant King casually said, "He's one of us." Lieutenant King was sitting on top of some lucky... Honestly, the music was so, like, happy-go-lucky that I didn't know what was happening, and it looks like we're still, like... This is, like, the aftermath of the battle in the warehouse or whatever. The music was so happy that I didn't think that was happening. He's sitting on top of some dead guy. He was holding half of a cigarette in his hand, and he had just exhaled a puff of murky white smoke. I was shocked. This person didn't look like a police officer at all. Well, I suppose they were all birds of a feather. Uniform must have plenty of weirdos like them. I lowered the gun, stood straight, and gave him a salute. "Sir, I'm Ching Gungmin. I was just assigned a unit 4 a week ago. It is a pleasure to meet you." "Pleasure to meet you too." It wasn't the hulking officer who had responded. It was Choi Yohan, who was standing behind him with a gun oh no. Did you all think he was fucking over? He held his gun against the officer's temple while rubbing his own bruised head with the other hand. Crap. I had somehow forgotten that he'd only been shot by a toy gun. How you just happened to forget that he's not actually dead. How could I have made such an idiotic mistake again? Lieutenant King slowly stood up too. His cigarette was still burning, but he had no interest in smoking it again. Haha, now those are kind of looks that I like. Kid, raise your gun. I wasn't sure what trick he was planning to play, but I involuntarily held onto it more firmly. I'm giving you 2 choices. You're a lieutenant or this meathead here. Use your gun to make your pick, put a bullet in his head, and then we're done. Don't play any tricks on me. What? Well, regardless of who he chooses, he's gonna miss. What? I must have heard it wrong. I had never been trained for this scenario back at the academy. Choi Yohan chuckled. Oh, also, I'm the kind of person who doesn't have too much patience, so I'll give you 5 seconds. How about that? Let's begin the countdown. 5. I slowly raised the gun while my arms suddenly felt like they had been filled with lead. On one side, it was the senior officer whom I had just met. On the side, it was Lieutenant King. What kind of sick joke was this? I must calm down and think. There must be some other way. But I only had 5 seconds. 4. Lieutenant King was standing to my right. A cigarette in his hand had already burnt out. He was standing there completely motionless like a statue. Our eyes met in midair, but time kept flowing. Yeah, like, you just happen to forget that he's not dead. Like, that's a very important thing to remember, dude. The music was so happy, I thought things were over, but clearly it wasn't. I pointed my gun at Cho Yun-ha. I tried my best to aim at his forehead. Could I make the shot? Definitely not. The officer looked at me calmly. He seemed to be telling me with his eyes, I trust you. But I couldn't trust myself. 1. Huge drops started rolling down my face. No, I couldn't make it. I gave up. The officer's head exploded right in front of my eyes. When the gun barreled toward me, turned to me with a sliver of smoke still creeping out of it. Troy pulled the trigger, the bullet hit me and knocked me over. Count Bacon, how does it feel watching your men die in front of you, huh? Ahahaha. I felt my eyelids getting heavier and heavier. I couldn't see the expression on Lieutenant Kang's face. The voice of Choi mocking and taunting the lieutenant was getting further and further away too. Oh, he's alive? A few weeks later, I woke up in the Busan Metropolitan Hospital. Tubes were coming out of every part of my body. The EKG machine was beeping steadily next to the bed. Captain Gong told me when he visited me that I was the only survivor from the warehouse. Wow, how could this have happened? Someone please tell me this was all just a dream. Please, Buddha, tell them they were all good people. Please help them. I guess. Okay, unfortunately you might have to see the the scene. Let's see. I think this is it though. Yeah, there's just 3. Well, he has to pull the trigger. Lieutenant Kang was standing to my right. Let's shoot the lieutenant, I guess. Maybe. Oh my god. Okay, I might have to hide the screen again. Okay, we're starting with this. 3. I pointed the gun at Lieutenant Kang. Choi Yun-ha was not easy to fool. I had to choose the lieutenant in order to save the officer. As long as I didn't hit any critical spots, the lieutenant would be okay. I could also stall for a little bit longer. 2. Lieutenant Kang saw me point the gun at him. He didn't look like he blamed me. I could see that he had understood that it was my plan to stall. 1. Huge drops of sweat were rolling down my face when I pulled the trigger. The bullet flew out of the barrel towards Lieutenant Kang and hit the man lying behind him. The lackey in the pink striped shirt grunted and everything went quiet again. Oh, the lackey's alive? As expected, my terrible shooting had just made things worse. Okay, how dare you try to trick me? Let me show you the consequences. Alright, okay, yeah. Oh my god, why is there like a CG to go with it? Hold on. I didn't take a good look, but like, why do they have to draw it? Why do they have to? Why? Anyway. If I killed him, I would become a murderer. Where would I be able to run if I became a murderer? I put down the gun. No! Yeah. That's the S rank ending? Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I'm pissed. That's what the review said, is that if he the correct ending is he doesn't kill him. But the child promises revenge, so I will support him. Okay. Am I supposed to like... Hold on. I'll put it back up for now. Oh wait, yeah, I swapped it. Right? Yes. So he pulls the trigger first and then turns to his right? I don't know. I pointed my gun at Cho Yun-ha. I tried my best to aim at his forehead. Is this the same thing? The bullet flew out of the barrel and hit the officer's head, exploded right in front of my eyes. Haha, aren't you a funny kid? Why don't you consider joining us? Oh, he accidentally hit the officer. He pulled the trigger. Okay, well that's not a good ending either. I turned to my right. No. My hands were shaking. Okay. Let's see, this is definitely not the right answer either. The music is the same. My hands are shaking like never before. It reminded me of the only time that I had ever hit the inside the target. It was a very windy day and I was wearing nothing but a tank top, so I had been trembling because of the cold. Now that I was taking so hard, maybe there'd be another miracle? Nope. Oh. The bullet flew out of the barrel and hit Lieutenant King in his left arm. I made it. I actually made the shot. However, Cho Yohan was obviously not satisfied with the result. Kid, are you really such a terrible shot, or are you just trying to fool me? I guess I'll have to teach you a lesson. Oh no. He pointed his gun away from the officer's temple and pointed it at his back. Bang! A red hole appeared in his stomach. The officer's face turned pale, but he didn't wince even a little, trying not to worry us. Oh, what a man he was. Oh well, I'm also a pretty nice guy. How about I give you another chance? This time aim at the head. See, right here. He poked his gun at the officer's temple while laughing like a maniac. My anger was boiling inside me. I couldn't listen to any more bullshit coming out from the butterface of that bastard. But what could I do? No matter how fast I could possibly move, I couldn't be faster than a bullet. A shadow looked past me from behind while I was still trying to think. A splash of blood spilled to the floor inside of my shadow that was cast by the dim lights. A gun was sticking out of Cho Yohan's mouth. No, it was barely a mouth anymore. Ugh, okay. Damn. Lieutenant King took the gun out of Choi's hand. There was no warmth in his eyes and he looked like someone else completely. Oh, the alter personality. The will to kill was radiating from him. The will to kill every single living thing in sight, even those that had already been incapacitated. A minute later, those who had passed out in the warehouse would never wake up again. Ah, the officer was lying next to Cho Yohan's body, still bleeding. I couldn't tell if he was still breathing. Lieutenant King's eyes then turned to the only remaining person alive in the warehouse. He looked into my eyes. Then he raised his gun. It says rank S. So. Okay. That's great. Let me look at what the other letters are. 4 of them. So far yet so close. Pills. The standoff, okay. Anyways, these are literally all depressing. Oh, I can see him now. No! I know! Like, the way it's so obviously like somebody trying to make a cat noise. Oh my god, it's hilarious. My child, no! No! Why'd they take him away? Oh my god, how'd he end up there? Okay. I haven't seen any more from this guy. So like, here's it, like, what's the summary? We got guy who tried to kill himself and he's currently a teacher for this girl. This girl has accidentally murdered a guy and then hit a tennis ball in the back of the head of this guy and this guy. But she's trying her best. Jimmy, who's just a fucking loser, but he's also just trying his best. Is he trying his best? No, he's just a little silly, I guess. He has a crush on this girl. Really sad child. Man. Carlos, who's trying to find his sister Alicia, and he's in a gang trying to find clues to her, and he's getting closer. Alicia is trying to, you know, fight for her life. And then Kat. Yeah. Jimmy, I'm so he's supposed to be from, I think, Hong Kong or something, was it? But he's from somewhere in China, so I don't know why his name is Jimmy. We got like these Chinese names, Korean names, Spanish, the cat, and then freaking Jimmy. Anyways, so, okay, it was Kat whose like dad got run over by a car, but we saved him, and we got these two yaoi tension between the okay, that was a joke, but yeah, we got rookie police officer and then lieutenant with an alternate personality. Is there anything? Yeah, he's from Hong Kong, so like I don't know why his name's Jimmy. He doesn't look, he looks like okay, right? Like he looks normal, but then like I read his letters and I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell? Okay, anyways. Main menu. Wait, did I save? No. Wait, hold on. Let's not lose all of my progress. That'd be great. I don't know if there's a point to having multiple saves. Okay. Title screen. Okay, now's a good time to take a break. Hold on. I can open OBS instead of getting full screen into the game. Okay. I will probably stream again later tonight. I'll continue this just because I feel like it. But I need a break because my voice, I need to stop talking. So bye bye, thanks for hanging out. Maybe see you later. I will be here later. And tomorrow, I don't know about tomorrow. I am working, so it depends on the vibes, if I have energy. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I know it'll be late when I stream again. Okay, yeah, sounds good. See you next time. Bye bye. Thanks for hanging out. I'm just repeating myself because it still feels awkward to say goodbye. But bye bye. Thank you.